No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do, quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it? You make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
Hey gardeners, hope you're all having a great week out in your gardens. I'm out here on the back patio checking out my pear tree. Man, I have to say, I think this is probably the thing I'm the most proud of this year in the garden. In fact, I've had this tree now about 3 years, and I've never gotten any fruit on it, any at all. And I think last time I tried counting on this tree, there were 10 fruit. I just counted now and there are 12 fruit. So 2 more than I thought there was before. And ultimately, it's come down to location. We've moved around a couple of times over the years, but finding this spot in the back patio is what seems to have done the trick. I've worried about pollination and other factors when it comes to not holding on to its fruit. But ultimately, it really likes this spot. And it looks like this year I'm going to be enjoying some pears off of this tree. Right on, everybody. We've got a great show for you today. And guess who's the guest? Yeah, that's right. You are. So, all right, let's get growing. All my passionate plant people and garden enthusiasts. It's time for the Let's Get Growing show here on the Urban Gardener channel. I'm Enoch. I'm your host today. Man, we've got a great show for you today. This is one of the most fun shows we've been doing all year. And that's right, it's time for another community show here on the Urban Gardener channel and the Let's Get Growing show, where you all are the guest. Yes, you, the audience, are the guest today. We're going to share with you our show link here and just a little bit later in the show here in just a bit. And then we'll start letting you guys come on and join us here on the show. And we'll have a fun little discussion and talk and about the things that you've got growing on in your garden right now, as well as those of you who have small channels. One of the things I would really like to do is develop this as something more too as well. Any gardener, any audience member, but those of you especially with those small channels out there too. And if you do know other small channels and all of that, as we start to do maybe more of these down the road, let's get the word out to a lot of those folks out there so that they can have the opportunity to come out, have an opportunity to share their channel with others, and that we all can get an opportunity to see what they've got growing on as well too. So I think that's something that would be really fun to see this kind of community show develop into, and all of that as well too, just to be in a really great spot for all of us to be able to kind of hang out together, have some fun conversations. And then as well too, for those who've got those smaller channels out there, they can also get a little bit of a shout out and everything for their channels, maybe get some of us to go over and check out what they've got growing on. So that's going to be really great. We're looking forward to that. And as I said, we will share all of the link and all of that here in just a few minutes. We'll make sure we get everybody up in here and all of that. And then we'll get growing along with all of that today. So again, too, this is going to run as just a little bit of a different of a show, you know, all of that sort of stuff than what we're normally doing. But again, we've done this now a couple of different times, and just been really fun. I've been really enjoying it. So whenever there's like this moment in the calendar as we're planning ahead for future guests and all of that sort of stuff, and it seems like it's been a few weeks since we've done a community show, and then there's like a date that's kind of a little more difficult to get a guest booked for and all of that, then we're going to keep an eye out for those types of opportunities to be able to do this again more throughout the gardening growing season. So right on, everybody. Again, thank you all so much for being here. I'm really great to have you here. And, you know, right here at the top of the show, definitely click that like button, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Bell notification to be notified of all of our upcoming videos and shows as well too coming up. And share with all your friends. Like I said, share with your friends, share with all those other small channels and all that sort of stuff that you know out there. Let them know that we've got a lot growing on here on the weekends here every Saturday and Sunday here on the Urban Gardener channel, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 p.m. British summertime for all of you there. So yeah, come and join with us every weekend. And a big, huge shout out for you guys who are watching us on our replay, taking your time out of the week to join with us when you can. And thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think, and suggestions, comments, all of that sort of stuff. Or if you just want to say hi, right down in the comment section below. Love to hear from all of you, and thank you for those of you who do take the extra time to jump into the comment section and all of that too. This is one thing that's really big, putting in comments, hitting that like button, all those sort of things. That's why we say it all the time. That's why you hear YouTubers and channels and folks out there saying that all the time on their videos, and all of that is because it really is an important piece of how we all get to be seen by more folks out there and get the word out to more folks. The more sharing, the more liking, the more comments, all those sort of things are interactions with our shows and our videos and things that help the YouTube algorithm make sure that more and more people get to see what we're doing here and all that too. So those sort of things are really, really helpful. And I really do appreciate you who take the time to do that. Now, if you do have any questions or comments for us here on the show, definitely drop those into the comment section. Drop in any questions in bold capital letters so that I can see them there from the regular conversation. And we'll try to make sure we get your questions asked during the show. And again, too, if you got any questions of our guests, which are you know what I mean? You got any questions or anything you want to know when we get some of you up here on the show, definitely drop those in too. And I'll try to make sure we get those asked of our audience guests today. And again, to follow all the links down below, all the Urban Gardener social media links, and all the other places that you can find us down below in the description there. So again, thank you all so much for being here. Thanks for spending your time here on the weekends to hang out and have a fun gardening conversation with me here today. As you saw in the beginning clip there, I was just out walking around and everything, and I was kind of thinking to myself, we're just kind of getting rolling. Things are just starting to really go. A lot of our plants and the root systems are just now really starting to, get going and getting, sizing up pretty well with a lot of stuff. And I was just looking around and I was thinking, man, out of all of the things I think I'm growing right now, which most things look good, I think I'm really proud of this pear tree the most. I keep going to it, looking at these pears every day anymore. Like, are they going to fall off at any time? But I think they're about the size and developed well enough now where they should probably hold on to that tree pretty good. And hopefully we can have some nice pears here later in the year. But I just keep thinking about that thing. For years I've been trying to make sure that I could figure out what it was, and I was down to the idea that I needed another pear tree. It was a pollination issue and all of that sort of stuff, because I had moved it around to several different places. And then making that move to the back patio there, we put it, must be just the perfect spot for it, because it's really doing well. It's really liking that spot. So again, that's where it's going to be for now on. If that's what it's going to take to get that thing to produce and do that sort of stuff, we're going to do that. But I am going to look to doing some, maybe adding on some other varieties of pears when I get the opportunity to, over the next couple of years, maybe grafting on a couple of different varieties right onto that tree would probably be a really great idea, as we've learned as well too. And maybe we can get even more fruit at that point, so that's what we're going to be looking to do with that. But yeah, really looking forward to those pears. All of our other trees are doing really well too. Fig trees out there right now are already starting to pop off and put a bunch of figs on them. I got an apple tree that didn't actually do very well last year, didn't produce apples that well last year, that's produced several apples too on it. So that's really nice. Our peach tree, we got a frost peach tree out front. And these are all in containers too. And our peach tree is just loaded with peaches this year, loaded with them. So I'm looking forward to that as well too. So yeah, we got lots of that stuff growing on there as well. And also too, as I mentioned before, you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of all of our upcoming videos. I did put out another video in our pepper growing series, Growing Peppers Part 7. And we're talking about hardening off. We're taking all of our plants from indoors and outdoors. And mind you, this is, and again, this is a hopefully, this as I've been doing this and thinking about this is, we're kind of behind the goal when it comes to a few things and stuff. So hopefully this pepper guide will be something that really works well in seasons to come. And that's really kind of the idea for it ultimately, for folks out there to be able to view and see that sort of stuff. But yeah, they've already hardened off. They've already, we've got the video coming up here. We're gonna be talking about our water wicking buckets. We got another one coming up where we're doing the transplanting. We're gonna do a whole bunch of things. We're gonna test topping off the peppers and things like that. We're gonna do a whole bunch of other stuff, things that have kind of already been working, already filming and trying to get edited and get these videos put out for all of you. But we did get that most recent one about hardening off put up, so you can follow along and see how things are growing along with our peppers this year, as that's what we're kind of focusing on with our growing pepper guide. And yeah, so again, lots growing on out there. Just really a great time in the garden. Let's see here real quick before we get moving on today. I want to jump into the comments here. I know we got lots of folks in here who I saw one, Janet. Yes, Janet. Nice and early. I've been seeing this lately. Janet, thank you so much. And I just wanted to mention this right at the top of the show, especially for a community show too. I've been noticing you dropping in like the day before or something, checking in, and then you put in a nice little garden comment here, which is great. And she says, 4 sweet potatoes sat in my kitchen and sent up hopeful shoots. My nephew spotted them, offered homes in his backyard garden. A wave of relief and gratitude washed over me. Gardening is life. Thanks, Janet, for that. That's a great way to start our show off for sure. And then also, we do got to say hi to our good friend Jay Dixon, our facilitator of the show. Thank you, Jay, for joining with us from Midwestern Ontario, Canada. And this is a community show. And I think one of the cool things that we can do, and I was just mentioning this too, Jay and I were emailing last night. We'll have Jay at the end of the show, and we'll kind of, I think that's a good way to end our community shows, is have a great little conversation with our good friend Jay, the facilitator of our show. So thanks again, Jay, for being here. Thanks for all that you do for our show. I see Dusty Flats in the conversation earlier. Right on. Thank you for being here. MKP. The weather is super nice today, in the 80s with a cool breeze in the mix. Worked all morning in the garden and even had time to mow the lawn. Now time to relax and wait for everyone to show up. Right on. Thank you for being here. Thanks for joining the show. Nice, cool day. I was listening to our good friend and book club co-host Mark Boucher Colberry put up a post about our book club, our upcoming book club earlier, and he mentioned up in Portland. And this is a phrase that I haven't heard probably since I lived more north here in the Pacific Northwest, but he was mentioning something that I hadn't thought of, because I live here so southern in Oregon in the Rogue Valley, and we have some really warm summers, and it gets really, really warm. And I haven't seen this phenomenon happen here in Southern Oregon since I've lived here. So the last couple of days we've had what they call up in the north of here, they call January. January. We got a nice little cool breeze and some rain and clouds and everything kind of show up yesterday, kind of hovering over us a little bit today. So it's a little cool out there right now. So yeah, I actually, because it's been so warm lately and everything, I actually had to put on my jacket in order to go film that little spot earlier of the pear tree, because it was so cool out there. And that's only because I've acclimated to such warmer temperatures. But January, isn't that a funny saying? I love it. But I remember hearing about that. We talked about that a lot during summers when I lived in the Seattle and up in the Washington area there too. And but it's a little new for me here in Southern Oregon. We got a bit of that. It stretched all the way down here for us, but it looks like summer will be right back in play here real soon. So nothing to worry about when that goes. That's for sure. Bowtie Live, David, good to see you. He says it took a hot minute to get started up. We were flying down the Interstate 95 past the Space Coast at Port Canaveral on Mobile Hotspot. And then he says, Mrs. Bowtie is driving. So yes, we are flying. Excellent. I love it. Thank you so much. And let's see here. I want to make sure we got everybody here. Right on. And like I said, today is a community show. I'll be sharing our link with you guys all here in just a few minutes here, and we'll get you guys all set up. And I hope you all are ready too. I see we got our friend Emmanuel Arce, the ultimate gardener, in the chat right now. Awesome, awesome, Emmanuel. Hopefully you got a minute to join with us up here in just a few as we get going with our community show here in just a few more minutes here. So we want to make sure, a lot of everybody get a chance to get in and all of that. Oh, Tony, how you doing? Hey, it's great to see you. Simplify Gardening. Awesome, awesome. And Paul over at Guten Gardening joining with us as well too. Great to see you. Excellent, you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming to hang out. And again, too, that's really, the goal and the idea ultimately as we started doing the show and everything was really we wanted to be kind of like a community hub on YouTube for all of the great gardening communicators out there and a place for people to gather and hang out on the weekends and hang out with all of these great gardeners out there that we follow and watch, all of their videos and learn from in the garden and everything. And so that was really the big goal and idea of what it was to just really build that up and set that up, and we've been really, really successful at that. I was really surprised at first, I was really nervous in getting this show started, about whether or not this would be something that could sustain itself. Could we be able to invite people and would we get enough of a variety of guests where we could be really a good, legitimate talk show? Right. And that's really something. And I was just, and I think about that a lot is that, we get so many great people, Tony right there, he comes and joins with us and hangs out in our audience and all of that. Someone I've followed for almost every year that I've been food gardening for sure. And it's just really amazing to me to see all of that and to see all of you guys come here and to gather here and to come and join in on the conversation. So at the end of these shows and all of that anymore, I'm just, even though I still get a little bit nervous as we get started up, I'm telling you, I still get a little bit of butterflies in the stomach as I'm getting started up with the show every single time. But I always finish the show really thinking about how really, kind of, successful this is. We are really gathering great people. You guys are all wonderful. You come here and you join up and you're helping us build a great audience. You're sharing the word about our show. You're helping us build that up, but you're also really a great community in yourselves here, those that join with us in the audience. So that became one of the biggest goals of a show like this is now can we start building and sustaining a great audience and keeping people here. And that's something that we've been really doing well at this year. It was my goal was to really feel more connected and grow this audience up. And last year, as we do each and every Halloween, we do a Halloween special. We hang out on Halloween Eve and watch the old original version of the Little Shop of Horrors and hang out together and conversate and all of that. And then after we watch the old version, I put on a theatrical version. I've got this really fun one I love to watch and stuff. So we watch that as well too. So we just kind of hang out on Halloween while we're handing out, all the treats to the kids in the neighborhoods and all of that, and hang out watching the Little Shop of Horrors. But I thought this last year, what would be kind of cool is to invite some of you guys on too and see what would happen. We would invite some of you on in between those two showings. And what ended up happening was that we had a few really awesome conversations and folks joined up and grabbed a hold of that thing and came on and we got to talk with a few people. It was really fun. It was really fun. And so from that point, I thought, well, we got to find a way to maybe incorporate that into our regular show, and hello, Jersey girl. Great to see you there. Thanks for jumping in there, jumping in the chat with us. So, that's what we kind of I set on the goal, trying to figure out what we could do. And so we started out and we did one and it went really well too. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then the second one was really great. And I don't know, and I'm not sure. Did we do a third one? Is this a fourth one? I don't know where we're at yet. But anyways, it got to the point where I was like, what, this is really something that's got to be a mainstay of what we do here. It might change a little bit based on the factors and the growth of the show too. That's something I did. Right now we're just kind of sharing it out. I think we're a small enough audience, even though we're trying to grow here. I think we're small enough that I can hand out the link to all of you guys. We can have a decent show that way. Down the road, we might work on a way of like setting up and pre-setting up who gets to be on the show by calling in pre-in or some sort of thing. We'll figure some things out down the road. But really, everything's been going good so far. And really, as long as things are going good this way and we're staying things like this, we'll keep it the way it is right now. Unless some trouble starts coming. Here's the one thing that could always happen is somebody could grab hold of that thing. We can end up having someone who wants to cause some trouble in the middle of it all. And luckily, we haven't had that except for the Halloween show. The very first time we did try it, we did have one person who jumped on and tried something, but we cut them off fast enough. It's hardly even noticeable, really, to tell you the truth. But since I've shared it here with all of you on our regular Saturday and Sunday shows, everything's been going great. So again, and so there's a little always, when we're thinking like, okay, we hope everything's going well, there's a bit of that, but we've got a great community and you guys are all wonderful, wonderful people. And we've had such fun talking and conversating before. I am pretty sure we're going to have a really, really great time today as well, too. Also, we do have a little clip here just a little bit later on from a viewer who sent one in for us as well too, which was kind of a cool way of dropping in there as well. Maybe that's something we'll think about as well. I'm not sure yet, but we'll look at that and we'll check that out here a little bit. And then I've also got a little surprise for all of you guys too as well coming up here in the show too. So you'll want to stay tuned and check out all of that as well. Right on, everybody. I'm just going to pop this in real quick here. And then when I get back, we're going to start our community show. Hey, gardeners, thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible feature visits. All right. Quick little break here for this. I didn't set up our normal breaks. We don't got Sarah with us at all, but I do want to mention real quick too for Sarah that if you do want to get some seeds or need to get some seeds for your garden, get all of your essential seeds at Sarah Seedshop.com. That tongue twister for sure. But yeah, go and support our good friend Sarah over at Sarah's Seed Shop and get some of your essential seeds over there. Thank you, Sarah. And yeah, awesome, everybody. Here we are, community show time. I'm going to drop right here. Let's see, I'm working on this right now. Real quick. Oh, wait, real quick before I do that, let's highlight a couple folks here. I see we got Brett in the conversation. Thank you for jumping in, Brett. That's the first time I'm seeing your name, I believe. Thank you for dropping into the comments here. 100-degree heat wave in Nebraska this weekend. Had to go out and water the garden this morning and hope everyone's plants are doing well. So yeah, again, too, I think that's kind of what is going on. Some of the folks in the Midwest and out there dealing with a lot of really hot weather, extreme heat right now. And that seems to be pulling in some cold weather, maybe from the ocean or I don't know enough about weather to tell you exactly how it's happening. But I think that's something that's going on there. Why it's making us so cool here in June right now. I mean, like I said, it's actually cool in this living room right now too, if you really believe it. Most of the time in June, if I'm sitting here, I'll be nearly sweating in this living room. It's actually pretty cool right now. But yeah, hopefully you all make it through all of that nice hot weather. I know it's heading my way really, really soon for sure. Let's see here, Leslie. Great to see you. Thanks for dropping in there. Awesome to have you here. Right on. And Cripple Cannabis Cowboy. All right. That's a Jeff Spicoli thing. Or or Matthew McConaughey I've mentioned before too. I don't know what it is. It's just my thing, I guess. It's just something that just kind of comes out, I suppose, right? See Shoddy Grows. Awesome. Excellent. We got right on. Excellent. Let's see here. Oh, Blue Wolf as well. All right. We see a few folks jumping in here. All right. So excellent. I hope you're all ready here to be the guest today, right? Because that's what today's show is all about. It's all about you all today. You are the guest here. We got South Florida, Sunshine Tropicals. Excellent. Perfect. So again, like I said, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drop right into the comment section here our show link. There you go. And now you got the show link into the chat. Now you can utilize that show link right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on that. You're going to go into a program called StreamYard. StreamYard's going to ask you for your audio and visual. This is audio and visual though too. So we're not doing, it has to be video. So hook up your audio and video there, and that'll load you up into our backstage. And then what we'll do is we'll start taking you guys one by one and bringing you onto the show and having a fun little conversation and talk about what you've got growing in your gardens. And again, too, if you all have small channels out there, take this opportunity to jump on here, let everybody know about your channel and all of that sort of stuff as well, too. Also, one other thing you could do too for me as well is I'm gonna have to put up a banner for you. So type in to our private chat the name that you would like to have me put in for you as we get going here with with having you on the show. So that way I can get your names on there correctly and all of that too. So let's see here. Folks is jumping in already. I love it. Let's see here. I'm going to do this one here real quick first. There we go. All right. And I got to make sure we get everything together. All the things you got to do here on this thing too. Make sure we got it all right. But all right. I think I'm all set up here. Let's go ahead and welcome one of our first guests, and we know this guest very well. In fact, we'll probably be seeing him coming up here this next Sunday as well, too. So, of course, he's out on the road. We want to get him for a few minutes here. Let's get our man, Mr. David from Bowtie Life.
Hey, how y'all doing?
From the car. How you doing?
Can you hear
David?
me? I'm doing well.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. It sounds good.
Okay. We're flying along here on 5G, so I'm trying to. This is Bowtie flew us off the main road for just a minute, and we're supposed to be landing here pretty soon.
Right on. Excellent. Where are you heading to?
We're doing a little Disney cruise with our youngest son and his wife.
Oh, awesome! That sounds like fun. A cruise.
Yeah.
Gonna get out on a boat, huh?
Yep, we board tomorrow.
Oh, right on, right on. Excellent. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So,
we enjoy them.
yeah, that's great. So right on, man. Again, like I was saying, y'all ready for next week?
Next week? No, I'm not. I think I'm the first week of the following month. You scared me when you said that.
Oh my gosh! You know what? Again, too, this is me not looking at my calendar. I'm just going off the top of my head too. So good there again too. Then I got you all thinking there for sure. Keep you on your toes. Keep me on my toes.
You got me on my toes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. That's right. I think next week's me, isn't it? Or no? Who is it next week?
Paul.
Paul's this week. Paul's this week. Then next week would.
Next week.
Then I think.
Is it? I have no clue.
Oh my gosh, yes, I think we're 5 Sundays this year month, aren't we?
Yeah,
yes, we are.
Yeah, that means you gotta get on the ball.
Oh my gosh! Now I'm in trouble.
There you go.
I'm in trouble. Here, I'm trying to see if you're ready for next week.
I know, right?
I better get something together for all of you guys. That's for sure. Right on. Excellent. But anyways, yeah, it's been really great. Again, thank you for doing that and all of that too. It was great to catch up with you that last time. Love the video and the look at your garden spaces there. And I know everybody's looking forward to seeing what's growing on. Everything going well down there in Florida?
Actually, quite too well. We've just been running crazy and doing what we can. But I put out a lot of organza bags yesterday, and we'll be back Friday night. So Saturday I'll be finishing up the garden tours. I think Friday Monday or Tuesday, I think it is. I have my front and side garden tour coming out. But
right on.
Plenty of it. Did you ever figure out your origin of peppers thing? Did you see my comment on your video?
Yes, I did see your comment there. Yeah, I did. Yeah, the origin from what I've read and understood is that those that have developed in Asia and other places are speciated from the origins of peppers out of South America.
Now those have their own origins. But now the Hungarian pepper is the outlier. That did come from Central America, but all the Nagas, they came from Nagaland in northeast India. That's the only reason I knew that answer. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Uh-oh. You got something going on? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. We had
Yikes.
an obstacle in the highway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, someone was running out in front of the car. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's the only reason I knew that. Yeah, loofah everywhere. I knew that there were some in the shishito.
Uh-oh. 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 Looks like we might have been cut off.
Oh
no. Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay,
yeah,
you're back.
There we are. Yeah, Mrs. Bowtie's driving, so it's even worse.
Yeah. It's even worse. Oh my gosh. I saw that comment earlier. Yeah, you guys are flying for sure.
Yeah.
I know that Simplified Gardening was asking, "Are you driving?" No, he's not driving. although it would look like he's on the right side from the UK for driving, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
Excellent. Right on. Well, yeah. So, anything else you got growing on there?
I'm just excited. We have one loofah plant this year, so I'm very excited about that.
Just the one.
Just the one. Yes.
Yeah.
I trimmed the extra one, which you saw in the intro for this month when I did that short for you. But yeah, I'm not going to let the loofah take over the neighborhood. You're funny, Jersey girl.
That's right.
There can only be one.
Yep. And Simplified Gardening. Dave only needs one. That's right. We've learned that. We've learned that lesson, right?
It was fun. Well, my backyard neighbor and we actually planned that for 2 years, and we weren't sure what it was going to do. I knew they were kind of wild growers, but we had discussed it, and his garden was there, but he's not a super active gardener. He kind of gets what he can out of it. So when it covered his garden, we would just, and he works 2 weeks away, 1 week at home, and he would come home and he and I would say hi and then look at the field and say, and just kind of laugh. It was a mess.
Oh yeah. That's great. Well, it'll be great to see how well you keep things, in order this year when you're dealing with this new one and all of that, and how you training, right? Vine training, right?
Yeah. Speaking of invasions, we do have an invasion in the yard already.
Oh, what? A plant invasion?
Oh yeah, we have an invasion.
Oh man.
It'll be coming in the garden tour in a few days.
Oh, excellent. See, Leslie's asking, where are you cruising to?
We are going to Nassau. It's a 5-night. We're going to Nassau. We're going to both of the Disney private islands. So it's kind of a special cruise where they have a newer one and they have an older one. We love the old one. It's Castaway Cay, and Lookout Point is the Lookout Key. Sorry, is the new one, and it's developing. And I'm hoping I don't know if I can do a live. I'll do a live from there Wednesday. Yeah. I can't have no guarantees what kind of signal, if I'll have a good enough signal, but I'll at least I have everything I need to edit a short, and I might do a short or something from there and then post that on the channel.
Right. That's good. We'll have to check that out for sure.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's just beautiful. So beautiful.
Right on. Excellent. Well, thanks for, oh yeah, there you are, cruising along. Let's see.
There we go. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Took a second to focus. Anyway, but yeah, we're screaming along here and having a good time. we're this kind of an extra trip that we weren't really planning. Our son and daughter-in-law wanted us to go with them on. Actually, it's her first cruise. Is that? Oh, oh! There's a Disney ship up there to the left. Can you see the? It's right there. Yeah, come over the hill here. You can see the two red stacks off in the distance. Those are the cruise ships. That's how close we are.
Just about there.
Yeah. So that means our hotel is literally up here to the right.
Oh, right on,
it's
right on.
It's exciting to go see the ships there. There's a place here called Fish Lips that we'll go for dinner tonight, and the ship literally comes right by the restaurant as you're sitting outside, and you can wave at people. They wave back. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm probably gonna have to catch most of this on the replay. But it's so great to see everyone. South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, and oh my gosh, you're here, you made it, and of course Shawnee and Rock Gardens and everybody.
This is already setting off to look like a really great show as well too. Yeah. I'm telling you. How about these community shows, really? Huh?
These are the best, dude. These are absolutely
we kind of stumbled into this. We kind of stumbled into such a wonderful, wonderful thing here, isn't it?
Absolutely. Emmanuel's here, man. I'm excited about that. I want to see Emmanuel.
I haven't seen him for a while. He hasn't been on the show since like we first started too. So I'm gonna go ahead and
I have learned so much from him over the years. It's funny, and of course Tony.
Yes,
awesome,
Tony.
Brother. But
I'm hoping Tony will grab hold of that link too, maybe, and drop in here a little bit later for just a second. For just a second.
Absolutely. Well, I'll let you go, and I will catch this on the replay because I see our hotel right there, and Mrs. Bowtie is about to land the aircraft, and we're gonna shut
up. Well, right on, David. Again, thank you. It's a great way to start off the show. Following you guys, Mrs. Bowtie. Mrs. Bowtie, I know you probably can't hear me out there, but
she can't hear.
She can't hear, but good luck out there with this guy.
Bon voyage, right?
Bon voyage. That's right.
Right here? No.
That's right.
Keep going.
That's right. All right. Well, you two have a great time. You guys really enjoy your cruise, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the garden here in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. In a couple of weeks. Yeah. You scared me, brother.
I know. Now I'm nervous. All right. We'll see you then.
All right, brother.
All right. Catch you later. Right on. Excellent. Great start to the show there. We've got Mr. David from Bowtie Life in the Garden with us on his way to a fun cruise. Man, I'm telling you, that would be so fun. I wish I was down there, be able to hang out and go on a cruise with him too as well. But right on. So everybody, again, it's a community show here. This is all about you, the audience. And we've got a couple of guests already sitting in the wings, but that doesn't mean there isn't still room for all of you out there. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead. I'll put it in one more time here for all of you. And I know Jay will probably share this link here throughout the show as well too for all of you as well, Jay. And use this link. Come hook up with us. Get into our studio in the backstage there. Hook up your audio and video. And come hang out and have a fun little conversation right here on the show. And as David was talking about and mentioning, we got this young fellow with us here today who hasn't been on the show for a while. It's Mr. Emmanuel Arce from the Ultimate Gardener. Here, I got this here. There it is. How we doing, buddy? How you doing, man?
I've been doing good so far. How about you?
Doing good. You're also down there in that Florida weather and all that down there, where David's from as well too. So
yes, I was just talking to South Florida Sunshine Tropicals. She actually used to live in the same area I'm currently in right now.
Oh, really? Oh, right.
Yeah.
So we got some good Floridians in the audience today, which is awesome.
Yes.
Right on, man. Like I was saying, it's been a little while since we had you on the show. It's man, you were on one of our first shows. I think one of our first 10 shows that we ever did. Mr. Young, Emmanuel Arce from the Ultimate Gardener. Yeah, yeah. And I was just catching up, and we were talking about just this last week or so ago. You just graduated, didn't you?
Yes, I
High
did.
school, right?
Yes.
Right on, buddy. Right on.
Yeah, it's only been graduated 2 weeks ago
2 weeks
from
ago.
my high school.
Right.
Yes.
Right on, right on. How'd all that go?
It was good. It was definitely a building moment because I was very involved in my high
Mhm.
school, my senior year. I did a lot. I worked alongside the principals, I worked alongside teachers, I worked with a
Ooh.
lot of organizations, one being the FFA organization at my school. And so it was a lot of work my senior year. And so it was definitely a work in progress, but
Yeah, yeah.
I got it. I managed to get it done. And it was
A
definitely
lot
a
of
journey. It
lot of
was very,
cramming, getting projects finished up and
yes.
doing all that sort of stuff. I bet. I remember when my daughter was in her senior year and she was getting ready to graduate, doing all of her different projects and programs, and just she was cramming. I don't know. I don't even know if she slept that last 2 weeks before she got her graduation set.
Yes, it took up a lot of my time. Actually, the garden was very much. I didn't do a lot
Yeah.
when I was in my senior year because I was very involved. It took lots of my time away from the garden, and I actually took a break from posting my content for a
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
because of how
Mhm.
busy I was with my schoolwork.
Yep.
But since I finished that and now I'm going into college, it's way more work, and so I'm actually I still have a video I need to finish up filming that I
Right.
did today. I was in the garden all day today.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's really great. And that's when you got to do that, when you got to set some things aside, even for me, there's times and things that go on in my life where I've got to, I got to focus on the sort of things I got to do. Sometimes we just got to set some things aside, but nothing better than the senior year of high school to make sure you're focusing in and drilling down on that stuff so you can get yourself off to a good, successful start on your next stage. Right. Right.
Yes.
So college, when you getting started, are you doing that kind of take a year off thing, or are you jumping right in?
I start next week.
What? You're going right into summer classes, huh?
Yes, I am.
This is a go-getter right here for sure, huh?
Yes, I decided not to take any break. I just wanted to jump right into it because I like feeling busy. Hence to when I used to work at the nursery, I used to have not that long ago, I was doing lots of things weekly. And so, but since I set that aside, now I'm able to do lots of more videos and content for all my platforms, and especially YouTube. I've been wanting to focus more on YouTube since the channel has just been starting to kind of like take off slowly by slowly. And so it's something I've been trying to work on right now.
Right on. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's really great. And really great to hear about the channel as well too. I really dig, and that was one of our goals too, is really dig the young folks who are out there gardening and growing and sharing and doing that sort of stuff. So that was one of the real big reasons why I made sure I wanted to have you on when we were getting this show started, was to was also to show that we're a wide, diverse gardening community here. Even got some kids involved, man, who are out there doing some really great stuff, really learning some awesome things and sharing them with everybody. And you do really a great job at doing that.
Thank you.
What's your focus going to be when you're going into college?
So I'm actually going into college for general education and environmental science. So I'm staying in the environmental world. But since I love working alongside my principal and with teachers, I am planning to get into the education field. So it's all about how things kind of play off realistically and moving on from here. So yeah, definitely going through there.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear that, and then there also seems to be then some sort of sense of influence that the garden, you found the garden at a young age, you did that, and that's kind of influence for you. And then it's helping you find direction. So that's just really awesome too, as well. I'll just even mention too, for up in, we do our book club here. I'll talk about it a little bit later as well. But in September, we're going to try to focus on a little bit of garden education and talk about educating and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of something I think that's really great in your story, though, too, is it shows exactly what, you know, getting in and teaching young folks to garden and grow can do, and helping them find good direction in their own life and find careers even down the road that, you know, are either, you know, helping with, you know, the natural spaces we have, or helping people learn to grow in their own growing spaces and everything. So I think that's really awesome that, that you're moving in that direction.
And just this, I was actually talking to my mom about this the other day, because so I am 18. I just turned 18 this year. And so what I had when I sat down, I didn't even realize this. It kind of just passed by my mind. But I started my gardening career back in 2018. So it's been years that I've been doing this, and it's been a huge learning experience. I've worked alongside lots of amazing gardeners, including yourself. And it's definitely something that I've just grown on and just been super thankful for, especially with like gardeners like Kevin from Epic Gardening. He has helped me a lot throughout my journey. You have helped me a lot. And it's definitely a work in progress. But right now I'm just focused on just showing what my garden is going through, because I am doing a huge change to my garden. I actually started it today. And so I am recording that process. And so I am definitely like getting a go-getter into the garden now, since I have more time. And although it's killer hot right now in South Florida, we're reaching high levels of humidity and just, it's terrible. Right. I have to wake up very early to get into the garden and get into it, but it's definitely worth it, especially with all the great community we have, like Bow Ties. He has been an amazing supporter since day one. Jay has also been an amazing supporter since day one. So it's definitely been an amazing community to work alongside with. Yeah,
it's really awesome. That's just, again, our community is the best and so supportive. And I think that's just one of the great things about what we've been able to build and do here on the weekends over these last couple of years, is really build that up into, especially, again, getting to be able to do this sort of thing, you know, today, and hang out with you and talk with you, catch up again. We'll have to have you back again sometime down the road for one of our regular segments or a conversation or something when it comes down to it. But again, you know, having you out there focusing on what you need to do and everything to get moving and forward in your life and all of that is just really awesome, and really awesome to hear. South Florida Sunshine Tropics, are you staying local? It says, I am an FAU alumni.
Yes, I am staying local. Right now I'm just going to a community college here in my local area, because I am not a huge fan of leaving that far. Originally, I was planning to go to UF, University of Florida, since that has an agricultural department. However, it's really, really far. It's practically speaking like 4 to 5 hours away from where I'm located. And so I just decided to stay local, since the college I'm attending right now actually offers the program I wanted to do. So I got really lucky. So I'm staying local.
Excellent. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to stay near family and all of that, right? Just a little bit much to kind of venture off away. So, you know, some folks are ready to run, and some just got to stay home. You know what I mean? But that's great that you're gonna do that, and you found that program locally and everything too. That's awesome. Yes. Jay asks, at what age did you start gardening and gardening education?
Oh, okay. So I started gardening around when I was 7, 8. It was very, very young when I started, because my dad, he is a landscaper. He's always has worked in the landscaping department. And so sometimes I'd go out and help him do certain jobs. But I guess he kind of just saw that in me, that he knew that sometime I would get into what is gardening and growing your own food, because he actually slowly introduced it to me by giving me plants, growing them in the backyard, and just like showing me how they grow, how they're cared for, and kind of giving me the step-by-step. So then once I started there, if you go back to my channel, once I started, you will see I was very young, and you'll see the little area I worked with when I started my gardening channel. And it has developed to where I am just all over the backyard now. I work in the front and the back. I do other people's gardens as well. And then when I started gardening education, I was like 12, 13, because I actually started due to one of the gardeners who I look up to, which is Laura from Garden Answer. She started as well, and I got very inspired by her. And so
Okay.
I just said, okay, I'm gonna just jump right into the industry and just see how it goes. Kind of jump right into it and see how it kind of takes me. I wasn't expecting me to go this far, and yet my main goal, which I had spoke to my sister about it because she's been with me since the beginning as well. I told her that hopefully by the end of this year, I reach 10,000 subscribers. I'm not there yet, but I'm hoping I do. And so that would be a huge milestone. But little did I know I'd get to even 1,000 subscribers, even 100, with
No.
how young I was. So I
Yeah.
definitely started young.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and probably the sky to go for you as well too when it comes down to it. I'm sure that your channel's going to do really, really great in the long run. I was the same way, you know, and I think a lot of us who kind of start out just regular old folks making and putting some videos out there, I was like, man, if I got 10 people to watch this, that would be kind of cool. So when I hit that first 100, I felt like I had 100,000. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, this is amazing. 100 people are watching my thing,
Right.
my channel, my videos. I can't believe it. And then, you know, here we are, you know, these years later, and you know, still again a nice slow progression, and I'm having fun the
Right.
whole time. It doesn't matter in the long run to me, but to be sitting where we're sitting today was completely unexpected when I got started. I
I highly
never
agree.
imagined it. Never imagined it.
Highly agree. I was just talking about it, and and I am very grateful for every follower who has been me since day one. And it's something I tell my parents. I'm like, if you were to tell me back when I started, hey, you were to sit at the amount of followers you have right now and the amount of supporters you have right now, I would not have believed you. I would have been like, that's in the long run, that's not soon. But ever since I kind of got my hands into the industry and getting to know these other gardeners, I just really got the help from them that I needed.
Yeah, yeah. Again, too, perfect example of what we're all here doing and working for is to help each other grow and to help support each other, all that sort of stuff. And again, one of the big reasons why we love this opportunity with our community shows to be able to catch up with all of you gardeners and folks who are out there watching and supporting each other through what we do here on the Let's Get Growing show, as well as what you know, you all are doing and supporting each other throughout all of your different ventures and everything that you do. So again, just really appreciate it. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to be able to congratulate you personally on graduating high school, and I look forward to seeing all of your progression and where you grow to next, man, because I think the sky is the limit for you, and you're set to do some really great things in our community, Emmanuel, and I really look forward to it.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor getting to work alongside you, as well as getting to work alongside an amazing community that we have today.
Absolutely. Totally great community. And again, like I said, we'll get a hold of you down the road and get you back on this show so we can talk a little bit more and see how things are growing along with you there. But thanks again for dropping in with us today on our community show, Emmanuel, and we'll see you again soon.
Anytime.
You got it. Right on. Here we are. We're cruising along. What a fun conversation with a nice young man, Emmanuel Arce from The Ultimate Gardener. And I know Jay's probably put a link in there into the chat for Emmanuel's channel and all of that too. If you guys get a chance, go over there and help him get closer to that 10,000 goal that he's looking forward to getting to. Because like I say, I think 10,000 is just a start for this guy when it comes down to it. He's on his way to some really cool things, a real go-getter, really out there trying to get things and you know, growing on in his life and all of that. But again, thank you all again too for being here. I want to mention we are on a community show today. We are doing a community show, and that means that you all are the guest today. So yes, you're the guest today. So we've got a link that's in the chat as well. I know I saw Jay just posted it in as well too. And grab that link right there. I see there's some channels in there. I see there's some places in here. Some folks grab that link, drop into our backstage here and join in on the show. Let's have a little bit of a conversation. We still got another hour or so to go, so I got to see some more of you. jump in, get brave if you haven't yet. Like I said, this is a great way for channels to promote themselves. Again, if you have a business or something as well too. I know we've had Mill Creek on talking about mushrooms before, those sort of things. But yeah, just a great time to talk about the sort of things that you've got growing on. So definitely drop into our show today. Right on, right on. Excellent, excellent. Okay, make sure we got everything together here. So one of our guests today couldn't make it today. Oh, although I did see her in the chat earlier, so I know she's listening in on us. But one of our guests sent us in this little video clip just to say hi.
Hello, growers. I am Shawnee from Shawnee Grows, the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for inviting me to be part of the Urban Gardener community live stream. I wish I could be there live, but it's one of those wild days here in Minnesota. We are pushing 100 degrees Fahrenheit with the heat index. And last night, my AC unit for our home stopped working, but they had an emergency person come and it is now fixed. It is still 78 degrees in my house, but we're dropping as fast as we can. Perfect timing, right? So what's going on with my channel? Even with the heat, it's been such a full and exciting week in the garden. I've been out harvesting lots of fresh strawberries, and I just received a brand new shipment of perennial plants that I can't wait to get into the ground, but I must wait for the right conditions. I want these plants to thrive, right? So if you love seeing what's growing and learning along the way, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what we're planting next. Also, we have some exciting news. There was a secret project build happening over at the offsite garden, and I was told, I haven't gone there yet to see, that I think it's done. So we're going to be showing that really soon and revealing that on the channel. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be super fun to plant on this. Hint, hint. Also, if you haven't already checked out my brand new June garden tour, I walk through all 11 of my gardens, which is over 3,700 square feet that is planted. It's a full walk and talk tour showing you how everything is growing this month, what's thriving, what's been a little chaotic, how I feel about it. Outside the garden, today, I am also hosting a benefit memorial at a local park. It's the first time my husband and I have worked on a project like this. It's taken a lot of hours behind the scenes. And so I will be out there working the event today. It's a reminder that gardening and community are both about nurturing what matters most. So again, thanks to the Urban Gardener for the invite. What an awesome community. If you're curious, if you're growing food, or you just need a little joy in your feed, come hang out with me over at Shawnee Grows. We do weekly educational gardening live streams at night. Always can catch the replay though, and let me know in the comments that you're there. And I do monthly garden tours. And as always, grow every day in every way. And I see you soon.
Right on, right on. Nice little clip there from Shawnee. Thank you for jumping in and setting and preparing that for us. And again, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out her live streams, they're really amazing. I'm telling you, really, really amazing, really cool. She just has a great way of conveying information, teaching, and all of that sort of stuff. So if you haven't had a chance to go and check out her channel, I saw Jay put the link in for Shawnee Grows. Definitely go and check out her channel there. Set up notifications so you can be notified of when her live streams happen. And then she says they're kind of a little impromptu. They kind of happen a little bit there, but you'll definitely want to check them out for sure. Such a great content over there, Shawnee. Thank you so much for contributing that video there today. And also, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out our show this last week, we had a really great show with Farmer Greg Peterson last Saturday from the Urban Farmer podcast. I think Greg is now our the guest that's appeared the most as far as regular guests that we have on the show. And so it was really fun to catch up with him and see what he has growing on in the garden there as he moved from Arizona to North Carolina about a year or so ago. So it's kind of cool to kind of catch up and see how his new transition garden's going. So that was a fun conversation. You want to check that out, as well as we got to meet Gray from Urban Gardening with Gray. I mean, what a great guy. What a great conversation. He has a fun content on social media and all of that sort of stuff as well too that you'll want to check out. But yeah, what an awesome show last Saturday. So if you didn't get to check that out, you'll want to do that. Also, last Sunday was our Sunday edition monthly gardening book club with our good friend Mr. MBC, Mark Boucher-Colbert, joining us as co-host, and we got to chat with last month's feature book author Christian Douglas, author of The Food Forward Garden, a complete guide to designing and growing edible landscapes. This was a really awesome conversation. You know, for those of us, you know, out there, I like to have a little bit of cool little design and things in my garden, and some of us just kind of see things that way. And if you're one of those types of people, this book's amazing because it just really gives you some really great ideas for designing and laying out and putting together some really amazing garden spaces. So you'll definitely want to go back and check out that book club that we had last Sunday on our Sunday edition. And also too, on our book clubs, you always want to hang out to the end of the show because that's when we announce our next book club author. And our next book club author is Bill Thorness, author of Cool Season Gardener. And Bill Thorness will be joining us third Sunday of July. So we'll come and check out this really great book, Cool Season Gardener, Extend the Harvest, Plan Ahead, and Grow Vegetables Year-Round, with author Bill Thorness joining us live on the book club, because that's what makes our book club so different and so awesome, is that we get to have a fun conversation with the authors about their books and about what they've got growing on. And again, too, with my good friend Mark Boucher-Colbert, always so awesome to be able to have him with us on the show as well, too. So great to catch up with them, and go catch up with those shows as well if you haven't had a chance to check them out. All right, everybody. I thought we're cruising right along here on our community show. We're having so much fun. We've already talked to David from Bowtie Life in the Garden. We just got to have a fun conversation with Emmanuel Arce from The Ultimate Gardener. He just graduated high school and is on his way to college. Really awesome so far. We've had some great conversations. I'm going to do this again right now, and I'm going to drop this right into the chat. Right there. There's that link again. And I know Jay's sharing it as well, too. So I want to see some more folks jump in and grab that link here and jump into our backstage here in the studio. And I'll work you into our conversations coming up here too. So again, I see some folks here in the chat. I want to see you in the backstage here real soon as well too. I want to talk with y'all, man. Come on the show. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's get growing right here. All right, everybody. So let's welcome the next special guest we have for us here today, a fun returning guest as well too for our community show here. Let's see, I gotta make sure I've got everything right here for sure. But anyways, let's welcome Robin from Robin Gardens.
Hi.
Hey,
How are you, Nick?
how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Real good.
Doing great. Great to be back. Thanks for joining with us today.
Thank you. It's a feel like temperature of 103 here in Chicagoland.
Oh, you're caught up in that Midwestern
actual temperature
dome or whatever they're calling it, right?
Actual temperature is 96. Thank goodness.
96 feels 103, right? I always point to that to my friends. I'm like, it's always funny when you look at your weather app and you look at the actual temperature that it says, but you got to really look at the one, and it always said feels like. Right? That's the one that matters, right?
Amen. There's a breeze, though. There's a strong breeze, and that's what made it very bearable to be out there watering this morning.
Oh, right on, right on. Yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah, you get and again too, like Emmanuel was mentioning too, as we were talking to him, he lives in Florida, so that's just something he's got to deal with anyway. So he's got to get up early, make sure
Mhm.
you can get out when it's a little bit cooler, make sure you get some things done and all that sort of stuff. So that's the trick in a heat wave like that, right? You got to just get up a little bit earlier and make sure you get things set for the day, right?
Absolutely. Because you don't really want to water at night here because we have such a problem with fungus, powdery
Mhm.
mildew, and so forth. So
Yeah.
it's morning watering.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the best for sure. I don't
Yeah.
have too much of that problem with that. I mean, we do get a little bit that sets in on a couple of plants that are just really, really vulnerable, but I don't have too much of a problem with it. But yeah, I can imagine that being having fungal issues a lot, and in those areas that are going to have a lot more humidity in the evening time like that. It just stuff just sits and stews overnight, and just fungus can really start to pick up and grow quick too.
Absolutely. And so it's like high alert time for the fungus. It's high alert time for the pests. So I'm looking for those squash bugs and all the other naughties that come in the garden. And it's actually the little four-legged ones that are giving me so much trouble this year. So
Yeah.
I have stone beds that are about 2 to 3 foot high. And then I've added these 29-inch tall birdies beds, 7 of
Hmm.
them.
Oh, man.
And I had to put chicken wire around my stone beds to keep the bunnies out. But then last night I went in to do something in one of my 29-inch tall birdies beds, and out jumps a bunny.
Oh, wow.
In a hole, she got down about 10 inches. She was making a nest, obviously, between a couple of lettuce plants. She had snacks right in between her hotel. So I had to put chicken wire around a birdie's bed that's 29 inches up.
Oh my
Crazy.
gosh. Yeah, yeah. Again, too, I really feel for you folks who got to deal with a lot of that, the animal pressure when
It
it
is.
comes down to it. We talk about pest pressure, but this is more specific animal pest pressure,
And
and that's just tough.
I had a squirrel just trample things in one of my beds. It's mostly flowers. They were just running like a highway and then
Mm.
trampled some flowers. And it was a delphinium. And you know how long it takes to do that from seed. And it was just about to bloom and bonk because the
Oh,
squirrel ran it over.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. Leslie is saying bunnies will nest in the beds. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you got to watch out for those things too. If you do have rabbits or the possibility that they could be when you're digging around and doing things and stuff too, is that I've seen people and videos of folks who've been out there and run into their little nest and little babies just, right there in the middle of the garden and in their garden beds.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the squirrels,
Ugh.
I know what they like. The bunnies, you can defeat them with the chicken wire,
Yeah.
put it up. The squirrels they're really hard to defeat. I have to net bag all of my tomatoes, and I've got
Mhm.
21 varieties this year. So you
Yeah.
imagine how many net bags I have. It's either
Yeah.
that or completely cage it in. If I want summer squash, I have to completely cage it in.
Oh,
Solid. Um,
yeah.
or they will get them.
Yeah,
That's
squirrels are something else, aren't they? I
they're
saw this video of this guy who set up a kind of a squirrel maze trap to where like the squirrel would, like hit one spot and then he would fail, right? And then it would figure that out, and then it would go to another one and hit this other spot, and then it would fail, and then it would go and hit that, and then it would figure that one out. And it had probably about 10 or more fail points in this thing, right? And this squirrel worked every single one of them out.
they're
Every single
smart
one of them out.
animals. Very
It's
smart animals.
amazing. Yeah. You
Yeah.
just can't. You gotta, as I've heard people in most parts, is what you gotta do is you just gotta really just give in and just feed them, right? Just here you are, like have all of this over here or something. I don't know. And some people even say that doesn't work either because they just go after whatever they want versus what you give them too. But
I try
I
to
don't
make
know.
sure I have water sources for them when it gets
Yeah.
really hot and when the tomatoes are coming on. So in August, I keep low pans of water available because They say they mostly go for the tomatoes for the liquid that's in them. And then if they took one and just harvested it and went off and eat it, no harm, no foul. But they take one bite from every single one of them, right?
Just wasters, aren't they? Oh. Yeah. The world is their garden, and they're just gonna take and taste. And oh my.
So I've been doing something fun, Enoch. We have a place that we inherited up in Door County, Wisconsin, and I got involved with the Door County Seed Library. We talked about it the last time I was on, and I saved seeds for that. But we are doing a kitchen garden project to teach the community about different methods of gardening. And within that project, there are 5 separate gardens. And I'm responsible for one called the Respite Garden. And I've got a polyculture garden in there, and beneficial flowers and to attract all the right beneficial insects. And I've got vertical plantings in there. And then we've got straw bale garden and Three Sisters garden, a container garden, a salsa garden, just to teach how to do it. And we're trying to do it on a low budget so that it's something touchable for everybody.
Exactly. I love
and
that.
you can do it with the seeds that you can obtain for free at the Door County Seed Library. So I've been very excited about being involved with that. I do have a video out about that, the Kitchen Garden Project. If anybody's interested in seeing it, I'll do another update here soon. We'll go back up and I'll get another update. But I've really, really enjoyed being involved with that project. It's really cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. All those different types of garden spaces. Tell me a little bit more about the Respite Garden.
Well, the idea is that it's a place to go and for the gardener, a spot to relax and take it all in.
Yeah.
I've got a bird bath and a hummingbird or butterfly bath. And then I chose flowers specifically to draw in the beneficials, like alyssum to draw in the hoverflies and the parasitic wasps, because, the salsa garden has a lot of tomatoes. So we want to make sure those parasitic wasps are there if we get hornworms. And like salvia, because the butterflies love that. Marigolds, because they help with nematodes and other issues. So everything I chose was, very specific purpose. And I planted it out so that it would be both beautiful and maybe meadow-like in the end. We'll see when it all gets grown in. It's just north of where I am here in Chicago, far enough. It's 264 miles from here to there. So they're about 2.5 to 3 weeks behind my garden here. Okay. And they never get typically the extreme heat that we get here. They top out typically around, 75. I mean, it will get hotter on occasion, but it's not typical. So it's it's different to my normal gardening slightly.
Yeah.
So that's a good learning for me too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I like the idea that that type of garden space. We're going to have a really great show tomorrow talking about horticultural therapy with a professor in horticultural therapy. And again, too, just one of those cool things, a respite space. I love that. I love the other ones as well, too. The whole project just seems really awesome, really fun to be involved in.
And I did of course the vegetables like I do them here in a polyculture. And that was kind of new to the gardeners that I'm working with. So that was kind of fun for me to share that experience with them too.
Yeah. And what was that all involved within on that one?
The vegetable portion?
Right. Yeah. What all did you grow in that?
Oh, I've got like a trio of beets, grown in a clump. kind of
Okay.
Charles Dowding style. You know how he grows
Yeah.
in a clump. I've got celeriac and celery and onions. I've got a couple of tomatoes in there. I've interplanted marigolds and onions, and just kind of did it strategically so that I will hopefully avoid the pests as much as possible, like I do here in my garden at home.
Yeah, right on. Excellent. Awesome. There are lots and lots of great stuff growing on. And as I saw there too, as well, Jay's always in there with the great links and everything. So you can make sure you go and check out what Robin has growing on over at Robin Gardens there too. That's a lot of good stuff. And you don't want to miss out and check on that, everybody. Also, too, again, for everyone that's out there, I just want to mention to all of you, we are doing our community show today. So we're talking with all of you great audience members and all of you out there, some of you with small channels as well, like Robin here. So definitely jump in and grab that link there and drop into. I'm waiting for my next guest. So jump in and let's get you on the show here and have a fun conversation, right, Robin? Everything. This is fun. This is easy, right?
Absolutely. And the video I did last is, I called it Mind the Gap.
Okay.
In my own garden, I talked about succession planning, how you look for those little gaps and how you fill them and how you think about what needs to come next and what's going to harvest next and how you can fill that spot. Mind the gap.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. That's a great title for that, for sure.
My husband came up with it.
Your husband? Oh, well, credit to him. There you go. Perfect.
The cinematographer.
He's the cinematographer.
He is
the camera guy.
He is. He's my camera guy.
And
my idea guy.
Excellent. That's awesome. Well, awesome. Thanks to him for helping out too. That's great.
Yeah.
And Tony says, great topic, Robin. Yeah.
It took me a lot of years. I don't know how you felt when you were developing your gardening as the years went, but there were maybe more than a decade, I never planted a second round of anything. It was to plant out that first round of stuff and write it out, and that was it. I never thought about, a second planting of anying.
Yeah.
I didn't have YouTube back then, though, because I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is that, I remember too, those first several seasons before I'd even get into doing some of that sort of stuff is just, we're really into what we're doing and growing and trying to succeed with these certain things and getting things going. So a lot of it's just kind of like, can I garden, over those first few seasons. And then you start learning and figuring out, well, like with my radishes, that's one of my favorite things out of the garden, out of the cool season, especially, and so I'll plan out all these radishes and then here they all pop up. And then I'm harvesting them and I got a bunch and I'm only eating so many and then I'm handing out other ones and stuff. So it took me a few seasons to go, wait a minute, why don't I just plant some more the next week and then the next week? And then instead of having a whole bunch, we just have a little bit for each week coming up and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
So I got these little square beds. So what I do is I'll go like 1 week, I'll put some along the one row right here. And then the next week we'll go this way. Then the next week we'll go this way. And then the next week we'll go this way. And it goes around a little 4-week square for 1 month, So I got this week, that way, next week, that way. So it kind of works out perfect.
And the bush beans, for 2 people, it doesn't take much to feed you, right? 5 or 6 plants and you're good. So plug in 5 or 6 plants here, plug in 3 plants there, plug in whatever at anytime something opens, and then you're always going to have a succession of beans.
Yeah.
And multiple. I looked in my seed box. I have 18 varieties of French beans. Bush beans.
French bush beans. 18 different varieties.
Yeah.
Well, if you got 18 varieties of those, I'd love to see the amount of different varieties you have of some other things as well, too. I'm sure you got a pretty expansive seed collection then, huh?
I try not to have too many at hand because I don't want them to get too old, although they do last. And of course, my main focus is to save seeds. That's what I like to do. That's my passion, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really expanded the tomatoes. Doing 21 varieties, that's way more than I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I top out at 12 typically. So
Yeah, I think that's probably right around the number we're at, when it comes down to it. And even, even like my peppers that I really love growing and everything, that's just something I've had to wind down the amount of varieties I grow each year to a more manageable amount when it comes down to it. Sometimes there just can be too much when it
So
goes down to it.
if you could only grow one pepper, you couldn't grow any more, what would you pick?
Ooh, this is a good, tough question. Oh my gosh. Okay, so one of my favorite peppers I've ever grown, but there's this one that I've grown. It was called Dos Deslandes. It's like a big, long, fat red. It looks like a hot chili pepper, and it's long too, and it's fat, but it's got this deep, like blood red color to it, and it is one of the sweetest peppers that I've ever had. I love that pepper, but I also would rather probably have more of a bell pepper, I suppose, because I'm not, and again too, I'm not going for hot peppers here, guys. If I'm gonna pick one, it's not gonna be a hot one. But these Lesia peppers I found were really great. I like them. Some people didn't find them, and they didn't grow as well for them, but they were really, really awesome. And they're very similar to that Dos Deslandes in color and flavor and that sort of stuff. As far as it's very sweet, but it's a more, like a bell pepper versus the other type. So I think that's probably the one I would pick right now if I was to take one of them out of the garden that I grow regularly each year.
Yeah, I grew Anaheim for the first time last year. Have you ever grown it?
Those are good. Yes, those are good. Yep. Not sure. I don't think I have them this year, but I did grow them last year.
I think I would probably pick an Anaheim because if you take the seeds and the ribs out of the pepper, it's not got much heat at all. And I'll tell you, at the end of the season, I dehydrated them and powdered them. And that has been like the champion of flavor for the whole winter. Just add a spoonful of that to, whatever, and amp up the flavor with that Anaheim pepper powder. Ooh.
Oh, really? And just gives it a little hint of spice, not really spicy.
No, not really spicy at all, because of course I removed the seeds and the ribs before I dehydrated it. I think the Scoville one, though, is somewhere between 500 and 2,000.
Yeah.
It's a very mild pepper.
Yeah, just a little little bit on the tongue, just a little, like it's not hot. It's just kind of, there's something there.
Flavor, flavor in buckets. And at the end of the year, I needed to do a Hail Mary because winter was coming fast here in Chicagoland. And so I just pulled the whole plant off with probably 21 peppers still on it, hung it in the garage, and they ripened beautifully that way. So, I just found it to be the most champion pepper I've ever grown.
Well, they are a good one. That's for sure. Definitely. And yeah, they're definitely one that I've grown several times. I really, really like as well too. And again, I'm not into the heat. I know a lot of people out there be peppers. They'd be picking some hot ones probably or something. But if I was to only have one, it's not going to be a hot one. That's for sure. I want to enjoy it, and I want to eat them, and I want to really enjoy them.
My husband would probably pick Corona de Toro.
Corona de Toro.
Yeah. He likes that one.
Yeah. Excellent. And right on. So everything's growing well. You're just trying to get through the heat over there. And again, I'm going to actually, before I ask you anything more, I want to make sure I do put one more shout out there, because I'm hanging out with Robin right now and waiting for the next one of you to pop into my backstage right now. I know there's someone who's brave enough to click onto that link and come on the show here before we finish up the show today. I'll put that in one more time for y'all right there. If not, maybe even I see Tony's in there. I don't know, but somebody jump in there. Somebody come on and say hi, because we're just hanging
Just
out and
do
talking
it.
with Robin right now.
Enoch
Just
is
do
so
it.
easy to talk to. Just do it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I know I saw a few people who were kind of teasing they might want to come on earlier too. So this is your opportunity, and especially those of you out there who've got like smaller channels and stuff. This is something I was talking about too, Robin, which I think
Mhm.
is a really great idea with this whole community show idea. Is that, you know, between us and those of us who do have small channels and stuff, is that maybe we'll all like get the word out to a lot of these other smaller channels that are in our comment sections and stuff, and let them know of these community shows as they're happening, and get the word out on them so folks can get that opportunity to come on here and get a chance to, you know, talk about their channel, talk about what they got growing on. And I remember when I was a small channel, or I still consider myself a small channel, I don't know, but I remember when I was like, you know, talking like with Emmanuel, like 100, 200 subscribers, even 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. Any opportunity like this, I would have jumped at. I would have loved something like this back then for sure. So take the opportunity to jump on here. Oh, I saw someone jump in, but then they jumped back out. But all right, come back in, and we'll get you here on the show in just a few minutes here. But yeah, this is really fun. I really love this idea and how it's kind of turned out.
Yeah, you get to learn a little backstory, right?
Mhm.
Because you see people's videos, and that's one side of them. But if you get to chance to just talk on a live, you get to learn another
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, and that was really the big thing I want, you know, was that I wanted to do, in the sense is why we, you know, get folks on and talk about their garden journeys, talk about their garden stories and things like that, because, you know, there might be a video out. I know I've done a couple throughout the years where I sit back and talk about how I got started and that sort of stuff, but it's fun to kind of get someone on, and again too, where the audience can participate, you can drop in questions and that sort of stuff, and then get to have this fun conversation with these folks that we follow, and or get to see their videos and things and see them in just a little bit different way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
See, Ozark Homestead just jumped in here, late to the party. So howdy, y'all. Yeah. Ozark, we are doing a community show today. Today is a community show where everybody is the guest. That's right. Community show where you are the guest, the audience. So this is a great opportunity again for everybody there. I had just a minute or two ago put another link for the show into the chat there. So scroll up if you don't see it. It's there. And come join with us here on the show and hang out and talk about what you've got growing on.
So Enoch, do you have
I see a couple.
something favorite that you're really excited you've not done before, or a new variety that you've not done before that is happening this year?
Let's see, new things. I'm excited, but it's probably going to be another year or two down. As I finally got some grapes. We got this really great variety of grapes from our sponsor IV Organics sent out to me and stuff. So I've got this blueberry variety of grapes. So that'll be something I'll have to wait down the road probably to get some to taste and see how they really are. So, but it's something that's new in the garden. I'm really, really excited about. New things, there's like always a new variety of like each certain type of thing, you know, whether it's the tomatoes, the peppers, the beans. I'm throwing something new in there. I'm kind of excited about something I don't normally actually eat very much that I grow in the garden, and those are my eggplants. I talk about this too. I love growing eggplants, and of course I grow the big fat purple ones everybody loves to make some eggplant parmesan with or something like that, right? But I've got a couple of really cool little interesting varieties of like an orange one, and then there's this other one that's they're different weirder type of shapes, and then they're heirloom varieties I got from Baker Creek this last year at the heirloom exposition. So I'm growing those out this year, and I'm really kind of excited to see what those fruits look like and everything. And for me, I consider those ornamentals. in my garden. Although we do harvest them and I do give them away to all my friends who do love eggplants and stuff. So I'll be looking forward to what their review is on these newer different varieties. But they're cool. If you know what an eggplant is, or you think, the general idea of an eggplant, these are cool, different, strange looking varieties that are going to be really interested in the garden. So I'm really excited about seeing those as they start popping out and producing fruits and everything here in the next few weeks.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about a couple varieties of tomatoes. One of them's called Cuban salami, and a friend of mine in England, another creator, sent me the seeds. He said it has umami in buckets. So a tomato
Ooh.
that's on the savory side. So I'm quite excited about that one. And I'm also actually excited about this trio of cherry tomatoes that I got just on a whim. I was browsing a nursery rack, and it was from Renee's Garden. And there's one called Pink Champagne, one called Mango Apricot, and the last one is called Chocolate Cherry. And the only one on those that I knew ahead of time was chocolate cherry. I'd never grown it myself, but I've tasted it before, and I know that it's good. So that was
Yeah.
because I was perusing a rack, and hopefully they're quite tasty.
I hope so. I bet they will be. Sorry, I'm trying to type in a few things there while you're doing that, getting ready. We do have a couple more folks who did join with us there too for our conversation. So right on. Excellent. And Robin, so wonderful always. And thank you for dropping in and jumping in and being a part of our community show. It was fun to talk to you the last time, and it's great to have you back on too as a regular for our community show, I guess. Right. And again, too, I know Jay put a link for your channel in the comment or in the chat there as well, too. So everybody who hasn't had a chance, you go and give Robin a good subscribe over on her channel there and comment on one of her most recent videos. Let her know you saw her here, too, on the community show here on Let's Get Growing. Thanks for the wonderful hang today, Robin. It's always great to talk to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time.
All right. Bye.
Excellent. 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 We're moving right along. And we do got a couple more in the background right now. So we're going to get moving on to them here just real quick. I do got a couple more things I do want to talk about real quick here as we're moving on. And like I said, we've got some great shows coming up for you here tomorrow, as I mentioned here just a minute ago with Robin. Tomorrow on the show, we've got a great conversation talking all about horticultural therapy with Dr. Derek Stoll, PhD of Tennessee University. I'm going to make sure I get that right. And one of his students, one of our past guests on the show, Alicia DeVore from Create My Garden, will be on with us tomorrow for this. This is going to be a great roundtable conversation. One of my favorite subjects to talk about gardening is the healing aspects of gardening and the growing profession of horticultural therapy. So this is going to be a great conversation. You're not going to want to miss out on that at all. And I've also made mention of this as well too. Yep. Next Saturday's show. Here's my surprise. All right, everybody, look who we're here with. I got my granddaughter, Layla. Hi, Layla. Say hi. Yeah. So guess what? Next Saturday on our show day is Layla's very first birthday. Yes, it's her first birthday, so we're not going to have a show. So we're going to take the day off, and I'm going to go hang out with my granddaughter for her first birthday. But all of you can still join in on the show and join in on the chat, as we'll keep the chat open as always. And hopefully we'll see all of you guys on next Sunday's show. All right, all right, all right. Yes, so next Saturday's Layla's birthday. No show, open chat though. Open chat for everybody, as we do for all of our no show days. When we don't have a show, I always make sure that we keep that chat open so you guys can come hang out anyways if you would like to chat. All right, everybody. Let's get moving along today with our community show. We've got another great guest, another one in the wings here, waiting to be on. Let's make sure I got everything ready, though. Okay, here we go. Let's welcome to the show. First time on the show, right? Diva in the Dark. Yeah.
Yes.
How's it going? Great to have you.
Thanks for having me. And I got the link this morning from Shawnee Grows, and she said,
Perfect.
she said I'm
She's
supposed to be inviting everybody, and so I thought I might be able to make it. Today is sourdough Saturday, so I bake sourdough bread that I
Oh, yeah.
sell from my home, and so it was a small order, so that's all done. Orders are done, and now I've just got squashes that are cooking up in the outdoor oven for the chickens, because there's leftover squashes from last year. I thought, I'm not throwing them out, I'll give them to the chickens.
There
And I
you go.
thought, this is just so great. You know
Mhm.
what, I love what you're doing here with the community, like having this is something that I have thought about. And so watching you and seeing the format, it is just so good. That does, this is something that helps smaller channels. It also lets us to build the community bigger, lets us get to know one another, in a whole other way, in more of a relaxed setting, not so, where everything is, you got to have your flashy, words coming up and things like that to draw people in. So
Mhm.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think this is an awesome thing.
Well, that's great, and I really appreciate the compliments on that too. And again, was really one of the big goals of doing doing this show was to build community, to be kind of, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is to kind of do something that's kind of where on the weekends we, as whether we're garden communicators and small channels and things of that, our own, or just folks who like gardening in general, have a place as a community we can come together and hang out. And then really in the long run, it was ultimately was the goal. And as I mentioned too at the beginning, I've been really surprised at how lucky we've been in what we've done as far as our featured guests and things that we've been able to do
It's
to
amazing.
do that as what would be a way to drive in and bring an opening for those of us. Again, I still consider myself a small channel. Everybody else, gives us an opportunity to kind of have a place we can gather, to hang out together, to learn about each other. I learned, as we mentioned with Robin just before, hear about garden stories, journeys, and a little bit more than what we're going to get from folks if we're going to check out their channels and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's, that was, this was really the whole idea. And it's just been so wonderful to see how this has worked out as well as it has.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And so me getting to watch you and just how the format and just the different things, it's like, oh, okay, it gives me a really good template to kind of draw from, because it is something, hey, my grandma, this is something that I wanted to kind of, go in, hey, Broke Farmer.
Yep.
Myself, and that eventually as well, because there, actually Broke Farmer was, I think it was his channel. I was a guest on his channel, way back when, and his whole reason for bringing me up is he goes, people don't know who you are, and so that's one of those things where you go, I want to give that back. And so this sort of formula that you're doing, where people can come up and say who they are, you get a better snapshot of knowing, what is their channel about, or, or just what's going on in their lives. Like it gives you that a bit more personal. So I do really appreciate it. But I don't know if you know that I'm from Canada.
Canada. All right. Excellent. We love our Canadians around here.
I live on Vancouver Island, and so I have a grow zone of 9B. So most people are that I meet, especially from the States, they're always like, what? You're 9B? And it's, like Vancouver Island is considered the Hawaii of Canada. And so we do have a more temperate climate. And so I can grow quite a few, quite a lot more than just your average Canadian. So it's been a great thing for me. But
yeah, I'll
And
share
I
this.
started
My
what?
my daughter's mother and I, when we got married, we were from Seattle, so we wanted something that was kind of it wasn't going to be so expensive, something that we could do. So we went to Victoria
Mhm.
and took out and checked out Bouchard Gardens and did all of that
It's
sort of
it's
stuff up there. Just a
amazing.
beautiful place, such a
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Yeah, and
And that whole island's beautiful. It's just such
it
a great
is.
place.
It is. It's just a beast to get off and get on. It's so expensive, to travel. For me to leave, like, to go to Vancouver or whatever, it's about $200 return, for me to take the
Right.
ferry in a vehicle. So that's the only negative thing. But
Yeah.
Americans coming here, your dollar spends way farther. So it is a great place to come because it's like,
Yeah.
wow, we're living like kings. Look, we can stay in these really high-end hotels because it's because of the exchange on the dollar. I always say to
Yeah,
South
Victoria
Florida.
has this one that's like a castle. You probably know
Mhm,
this, right? The one that's like a
mhm.
castle. That's where we
Yep.
stayed, like up in one of the big spires that they
Yeah.
had and everything. It was
Yeah,
so cool. It was so
that's
cool.
the Empress Hotel and that's when the Queen was alive. And she hasn't been here for years, but
Yeah,
anytime
yep,
she
yep.
would come, anytime royalty would come, they would stay at the Empress, and
Yeah.
they still do high tea and things like that. Yeah,
Oh, it
it's
was
a
amazing.
great
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, high tea, all that sort of it was such a fun experience.
Hmm.
Man, it was
Yeah,
so great.
yeah. So I think this is my fourth year. It's fourth or fifth year to be a grower. Before that, 2020 changed a lot of people's lives, and
Yeah, it did.
I'm a jazz and blues singer, and so that's what I did as my profession,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
so couldn't do that anymore. And I am a person who absolutely hates growing, loathes it. My mother is a grower, and she'd go out to the garden and grow. It's beautiful. It's so therapeutic. And all my life, I'd go, Ma, I loathe gardening. And I had not much to do. I have during that time in 2020, and I had my 5 adult children and a son-in-law living with me at the time. And so we'd go out and we'd have adult beverages, and I'd weed a little bit, and then
Mhm.
I'd go, hey, I grow a little bit of something. And
Yeah.
there is just something about when you go and put a cabbage seedling into ground, and then you pull out a cabbage this big. It's that thing where you're like, I have grown vegetables. Look at this, you know, and
Yeah.
and cook it up, and then sitting at the table with all my adults, and I'd go, I grew that. Hey, I grew that. How does it taste?
Yeah.
And it just became this, kind of, I got kind of the gardening bug,
Yeah.
and just started to turn more and more of my yard into gardens. Got chickens in 2020, so I learned chicken husbandry
Yeah.
as well. And I've had a vet come, and so every time I pay my vet, he comes to my home. Every time I pay
Mhm.
him, I just went to veterinarian school to learn more about chicken husbandry, and it's been a cool experience. This past
Yeah.
year in January, I had one chicken hurt herself,
Ooh.
which I think she fractured her back, and I rehabilitated
Mhm.
that chicken back to walking, and she is still with me and still going strong. She does have still a little lump on her back, and she doesn't
Yeah.
fly up as high, but she's
Is
done
she
really
still
well. But
laying? Is she still
yes,
laying?
yeah, she's still laying, and
Oh,
she's
nice.
3. But yeah, and so I live in an urban center, and it's about a
Mhm.
quarter. My property is about a quarter of an acre, and I have my house.
Okay,
I have
still
a
good size for an urban center, huh?
yeah, yeah. It's an older residential area, I guess. So back
Yeah.
when they used to allow you to to have lawn,
Right,
now
right,
you go.
exactly.
Now you get a postage stamp or something,
And barely
and
anything.
yeah, and so I have this front boulevard, and I
Mhm.
do I have my front boulevard. It's a huge space, and all I used to do is get to uh mow the weeds. And so I started putting down wood chips, and so I kind of use the Back to Eden method. I use the Ruth Stout method for growing potatoes, things like that. And it's it's just been this really in-depth thing of learning and understanding, just how to, it's like I use those methods to keep the moisture down because water can get so expensive and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I think it was three years ago, I grew 1,500 pounds of food off of this property, which was
Wow.
remarkable for,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. That's great.
yeah.
And such a great,
Yeah.
yeah, again, too, for just only a few years into this growing experience and everything to have built it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. And so, I started my channel, I think it was in 2022. And it was kind of a spin-off from what I was doing on Facebook because I speak to my mom every night on the phone and I would tell her what I was growing, what I was doing in the yard. And she'd go,
Mhm.
I don't remember that. So I was just doing these little videos and I just put them up privately on Facebook. And then I jumped off and started doing them on YouTube. Because I think I wanted to show people that you can be a jazz and blues singer and know nothing about
Mhm.
gardening and have really fancy nails and things like that, and then and you can turn around your life and you can actually become a grower. And
Yes.
we started preserving and canning up what we grow. It's like I learned sourdough bread making and things like that, just like many people did. But this past year, I started selling things from my. I have a little urban stand out in front of my property,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
so I sold seedlings this year. I'll be selling the vegetables and whatnot. And
So you
right
turned
now,
your little space into a little market garden.
yes, exactly.
Nice.
Yes, and
Nice.
I have some returning customers they were driving by in May, and it's like, "So are the vegetables out?" And it's like, "It's May." It's May.
Mhm. Mhm.
Lettuce, but
Yeah.
no squashes yet. No, no cucumbers, nothing like that. It's just still too early. But right now I've just done a farm tour. Oh, that was the other thing. Last year I was given the opportunity of another space to grow. So I grow here and then I
Yeah.
have an offsite garden that I grow from. And so I've done a tour of that one. And coming up Monday, I will be having my urban farm tour. So this year I built a new farm stand and I have new raised beds out front. So that's really exciting because I know I showed the beds that I bought, and everybody kept saying, "Well, they're really big. How are you going to fill
Mhm.
it?" So
Right.
my video is going to show you how I filled all 4 beds, and costing me basically $50. So which was
Oh, that's
pretty remarkable.
I love
And
it. I love it when people are showing budget gardening when it comes down to it, because gardening
yeah,
doesn't have to be all expensive and crazy, all that
no,
stuff. So I love it when people
no.
do that.
No.
Mhm.
And I just want that thing where you go, just grow something, grow a pot of
Mhm.
lettuce. That's the one I always go with
Yeah.
because everybody eats salad. And it's like,
Yeah.
even if you have a pot with just 3, romaines in there, keeping it in a cool place, you're going to be able to have, salad throughout, your summer and save yourselves a bazillion dollars,
No,
you
no,
know.
exactly, exactly. Well, that's all really
Mhm.
good stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Thanks.
And again, too, I look forward to digging in and checking out some of that stuff you've got growing on your channel there too. And I see
Thanks.
too that you got a few of your followers jumping into our
Yeah.
chat here.
Yes.
So I want to mention to everybody who follows Diva too that we got a great show here every Saturday and
Mhm.
Sunday. When it comes down to it, we're all about community. We've got great guests each and every weekend when it comes down to it, except for next weekend. I'm sorry, I'm promoting. I just I gotta hang out with my granddaughter, I swear.
That's right.
But yeah, we do have some really great shows. So definitely come and check out what we've got growing on there as well. And Diva, I'm gonna have to have you back because I'm really enjoying this conversation and I want to talk with you some
Thanks.
more about all the sort of stuff you've got growing on. So I'm gonna make sure I make a note of it. We'll get you back on the show here and really dig into that garden story just a little bit more this
Thank
next
you.
time, right?
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the compliments and coming on here and saying and helping affirm the mission that we've had here with the show and everything too. And it really is proven out by having such great
Yes.
folks like yourself taking the time to come here
Aw,
and hang out
well,
with
thank
us. So
you.
thank you
Thank you.
so much. I really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
You got it. All right, everybody. Make sure you go over and check out Diva in the Dirt. I know we got a link here. I'm sure Jay put a link in the chat there for all of you. Go and check that out. Go check everybody out. One other thing I did want to mention, I need to remember to mention too at the beginning of these community shows, is that all of you guys who are guests who've click that link. One other special little bonus if you want and if you have time, okay? When we finish the show, when we've finished with the show and you see the end credits and it's done, click that link and you can come back into the studio for an after show little conversation that we do with all the folks who are guests on the show. Normally our guests will hang out, we'll have a little conversation or so, but today you all are the guest. So take that link, keep that link, use that after the show is over, and you can jump in for a fun little private after show conversation with everybody who's been a guest on the show today. So, all right, we're going to move along today. I've got a few more people in here, a couple more people in here right now. We're probably going to go a couple of minutes after or something like that. So I'll just warn you all about that as well, too, when it comes down to it. I'm going to take new guest first, and then I know we've got someone who's been on, and we'll have you on, and then of course we'll end with our good friend Jay Dixon, our facilitator. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody who has participated today in our community show. It's been another amazing show. It's just amazing gardeners from all around the world, even joining with us here today to talk all about what they've got growing on. And next up, we're going to have with us here, let me see here, we got to make sure I got all this stuff ready to go. All right, let's bring in our new guest to the show, Julia. Julia, welcome to the show. Right on, good to have you. Excellent. Real quick, is there
my
one
audio
way
going and all that good jazz?
I can hear your audio? Is there any way we can get you to turn the phone camera to the side?
I can try, friend. Did that do it? Oh,
Maybe. Sometimes it won't do it. Yeah, sometimes it won't do it after it's already done, but that's okay. We'll live with it for a minute. That's for
did that
sure.
work?
No, I think because it's already said it did it. So we'll go ahead and turn it back the way it was. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah. Sometimes
That
if it's
worked good for
already
you?
set its orientation when we get you on, it won't click back the way it should or whatever, but that's okay. That's okay. Thank you, Julia, for being here. Thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm an old guest, friend. It's Bohemian Herbology.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, then there we go. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. I didn't put 2 to 2 together there, but so perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
We see you all the time in the chat as well, too. So it's great to have you here on the community show with us. And yeah, like I said, even better, because I love to make sure to see those who are in our chat regularly, too, jumping in on these community shows and taking the opportunity to let everybody else get to know who you are. So tell us just a little bit here about Julia.
Well, I was outside in my central Illinois garden, and it was very hot, so I had to come indoors. It's about 100 degrees today.
Oh
So
my!
I brought,
You're in that heat.
I brought an example of how I store my seeds. I thought that might be something. So I store my seeds in individual packs, and I stick them all in the jar, and then I keep the corresponding tags, so I always have a record.
Excellent.
Yeah. And outside, I have so much going on, it would take me 2 hours to list. So
that's how much you got growing on, about 2 hours worth of stuff there, huh? What's probably your favorite thing that you do have growing on out there?
Sunflowers are starting to begin. My garlic's getting ready to harvest. My tomatoes are about waist high. Craig LaHoulier wrote me back a personal email and recommended a bunch of dwarf varieties. So
from our show when we had him on for the book club, huh?
Yes, thank you so much for your show. That's why I wanted to jump on. I really appreciate it on the weekends, getting to talk garden and meet all these fascinating people.
Yeah, it's so great. Awesome. Thank you so much too, and all of that. You mentioned sunflowers. I was just thinking yesterday as I was looking at my neighbor's garden as they're getting their thing started, and she's got several sunflowers up, and I was like, you know what? I've been so busy doing and thinking about all these other things, I forgot to set out sunflowers for myself. So I don't got any sunflowers growing this year, actually. I do have one volunteer though that did pop up like in the gravel next to the alleyway. So I'm thinking I might try to dig it out and see if I can't put it in a better spot somewhere, if it'll survive that transition. But yeah, it'll be my one lone sunflower because I didn't really put them out yet. But I love growing sunflowers. They're great.
Yes, I will have to take a video of them here. I have a half of an entire yard full. They're all started with black oil sunflower seed from the home improvement store. And I didn't really plant any either. I throw them out for the birds, and I have a bird feeder, and they grow.
Yeah,
They come up every year on their own. A lot of my garden is direct seeded.
Direct seeded, yeah. Yeah, I would say about 80% of my garden is, well, I mean, not direct seeded, but I would say no, about 20% as far as direct seeding, but 20%, 80% are things that, you know, we're putting into the garden is basically what I'm trying to say. 20, and then another 20% are like volunteers. So I love my volunteers. I love those things that pop up and stuff. So I try to make sure that we can keep space and keep them, keep enough room for them so they can make sure that we're growing those things out as well too. Because I always find they're the best plants when it comes down to it. But right on, right on. And what else you got growing out? You say, I mean, again, too, you're caught up in this heat dome as well, too. 100 and some degrees out there right now, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have tons of flowers for the pollinators. I heard you talking about delphinium earlier. I have a bunch of wild larkspur, delphinium, clematis, licorice mint, rose mint, nasturtium. I could just list and list and list. About 15 different varieties of pole beans. And I live in a mobile home park, so, you know, right on to urban gardening.
Oh yeah, so then you're really dealing with just a small little space then, huh? Or do you? How much
for
space?
sure.
Yeah, most
It's
people know
not
those
even
mobile homes
1,500
are.
square feet. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and most people are familiar with like mobile homes and stuff. It's just really just like a little, not even a square, maybe a rectangle right back behind your space, right?
Exactly.
So there isn't much there. Do you at least get some good sun in that space?
Yes, all kinds of sun, and I have incredible yields. It is a little bit more work because you have to trellis everything up. It wants to grow and take over the neighbors. But besides that, I just put down cardboard and keep adding to it, like a lasagna style garden. So I've never disturbed a spadeful. I think that's important to talk about for rental status.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I just love to grow and get it in as much as you can. Fill in pots, containers on the porch, driveway, just everywhere.
Yeah. So our channel's just right up your alley, right?
Yes, it really spoke to me. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's so awesome. Great. Well, again, too, I really appreciate you jumping on and taking the opportunity to be here with us today for our show. And again, too, always love seeing you in the chat. And I look forward to seeing more from you. And again, you have a channel as well, too. It's Bohemian Herbology, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if that's going to go through fruition, friend. I'm like you, and I just want to do things well. And I have a lot of problem with technology. And thank goodness for you and all the other folks that put out all that great, you know, content. I don't have to worry about it so much. I can just cheer you guys on.
Well, then there we go. I love that just as much, man. That just sounds just as awesome to me right there. Just a great regular viewer and someone who just loves watching and listening in and being a part of these conversations that we get to have here every weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show. Julia, Bohemian Herbology. I really do appreciate you taking your time being here with us. And again, I look forward to seeing you in the comments in future shows. And then again, maybe again on one of our next community shows.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking your time to be with us today. It's great to have you. All right, awesome. Again, too, like I said, we're and I guess this is kind of the thing when it comes to doing these types of shows and stuff too. Is like, things are going along, and then all of a sudden it's getting towards the end, and you're like, oh no, I got to cram it in. I got to get all this stuff done. But again, these are community shows. I'm not going to be as stringent with the like I'm stringent with our end time as well, anyways. But when it comes down to it, but we do got everybody here right now, real quick. So let's just keep moving along. Again, everybody, thank you for being here and hanging out with us today for our community show, where all of you are the guest here. And again, look forward to seeing all of you again coming up. But let's get our next guest in here real quick. I'm trying to make sure. I'm sorry, I'm rambling because I'm trying to make sure I get these buttons right. But yeah, we know this guy. He's one of our new contributors to our Sunday edition in the garden segment. It's our
Hey,
Paul
how are you?
from Good and Gardening jumping in. Hey, Paul, thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for getting in on our last minute conversation here before we finish up the show. But again, it's always great to see you. And and again, thanks for jumping in on the In the Garden segment. As I was mentioning with Dave earlier in the show, we've already gotten a good chance to get you guys introduced and everything. So I'm really looking forward to what's coming up in these next coming segments for In the Garden.
Yeah.
When you see what you got growing on.
Absolutely. It's so funny, the weather here in Wisconsin. I know Dusty.
Oh, you're in it too, huh? You're in it too.
Oh man, it's so warm outside. I can't even have my hat on inside, which is it's just, I usually show up with a hat on no matter what, but it is something else out there. But I got so much to do, but we spent so long with cooler weather. Now that it's hitting us, it's telling us that I don't know what it's trying to tell us, but it's hot.
Right.
It's very hot.
It's
very
hot. Man, it is so strange though too, as I'm hearing from all you folks over that's what we should be right now. That's what I'm supposed to be. And as I was mentioning at the beginning of the show, our good friend, Mr. NBC, who also does In the Garden, who our original In the Garden guy, he was doing a little post earlier and mentioned this phrase called January.
Oh, okay.
January. Now, this is something that if we live like Portland, Seattle, up in the more northern of the Pacific Northwest, I was more familiar with that. I haven't heard that term since I moved down here to Southern Oregon because I haven't seen a January since I've moved here, and it's been about 13 plus years or so. And I'm telling you right now, you're sweating. You can't wear a hat. I feel like I need a jacket right now. I'm not even kidding you. And really ultimately it's because it's been really, really warm, and we've had a couple of hundreds already. So I've kind of acclimated to some really, really warm weather. And then we just dipped down into the 60s. And I'm like, what is going on? It's chilly in the studio today.
Article I just read said like 170 million people are going to be affected by the heat wave going through, but clearly you're not. You're not one. You're not one of us today.
No. Yeah, I was exactly. We got the very opposite, and I think it's probably because of those weather patterns why those things have turned that way. Something just kind of went your direction, and whatever was intended to go your direction went my direction.
Yeah. Well, I tell you the result here for me, because I mean we don't get this kind of heat all that often. We do get, we get some warm weather here, but it's just not as frequent. What it means is quick trips out to the garden instead of long stays doing work, because otherwise I mean at this point I don't think it's all that safe to be out there too long, and I don't want to do anything like that. But I've got some things. I got the scapes have to come off my garlic right away, and I need to get out there, take care of that. I've got some more weeding to do, but some things are going to wait till the evening, and since it's light until after 9 o'clock right now, I think we can wait a couple more hours to let that happen.
Yeah, exactly. In South Florida, sunshine tropicals. Oh, I would love a dip down. I know you would for sure. I can imagine you folks down there in Florida for sure. Yeah. You probably love a dip down probably almost any time of the year.
Well, it's one of the benefits of living in a zone 5 area. We have a shorter growing season, but we don't have to deal with that constant heat that is so difficult, I think, for a lot of gardeners. So
yeah. Because like I said, once this little dip is done, we're right into summer, and it's going to get, I know it's going to get really, really warm around here for sure.
Bowtie just asked daylight till after 9. I was out recording the video that I released today at 8:57 p.m. last night, and there was still enough light to film. So
yeah, I know. Again, too, it's so nice. Again, the longest day of the year. It's starting to wind down now, though. That's the whole problem with the longest day of the year. That means it's a wind down time. But yeah, it's nice to be able to get out there at like 9 o'clock and it's just dusk. It's just barely starting dusk. And you're like, oh, wow, this is nice.
Oh, yeah.
Few months from now, it'll be 6 o'clock and it'll be dark again. So let's enjoy this.
When we hit the daylight savings time,
I know our plants are.
Oof. When we hit the daylight savings times, it kicks us at 4:30. It's dark. It's dark when I go to work, dark when I come out of there. That's a little bit tough. So we'll take the long days now. I don't want to keep you too long. I just want to stop in and say hi to everybody. So I appreciate your time and I appreciate the opportunity to come on, of course.
Absolutely, Paul. Anytime. Always great to see you. And again, we do look forward to seeing Paul from Guten Gardening in one of our upcoming In the Garden segments. But as I don't know if you got to see the beginning of the show when I had David on, I pinned David for being on next week. And I was like, because I forgot. This is a 5 Sunday month. Oh my gosh, it's up to me. I got to do this now. So the pressure is on me now. I got to come up with the In the Garden segment for next week. But yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our In the Garden segment. So everybody definitely come and check out Paul's In the Garden segment for tomorrow's Sunday edition show. And again, good to see you here on our community show, Paul. We look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
You got it. All right, everybody. Here we are again, too. We're just a little loose with the time. Just a couple more minutes to go because we do have one more guest that we got to have here with us today. Also do want to remind everybody, though, if you are a guest today on the show, use that link and come and join with us after the show is over here in the studio for an after the show conversation. If you'd like, use that show link. Again, fun little conversation for all the guests of the show. Okay, let's get in. And one of the fun things that we've been doing too with these community shows and getting a chance to talk with all of our fun, awesome guests and small channels and those folks who are doing all sorts of things here to help out and contribute and be a part of our show. There's one person who's come and contributed probably one of the best ways that I can ever imagine for this show. One of the big parts of our community here on the Let's Get Growing show, a person we all know and love very, very well. Let's welcome our good friend and facilitator of the Let's Get Growing show, Jay Dixon. Jay, welcome to the show. It's good to have you back. How's it going? How are you doing?
Busy, pleasantly busy. I was a little late putting in the garden this year, but I am thrilled to be back. I am kind of trying to do optimum conditions to get those seeds sprouting. So we have a limited garden season up in my area of Canada. So if I don't kind of move things along, I'm not going to get the mature results for all the work that I put in. So I have been super eager at that.
Awesome. Good to get that stuff done, huh?
Fabulous. Yes. Another little project I did last night was I've been deliberately reaching out to different gardeners, and I went to one person's place last night with my entire seed library and said, be seed greedy, take my seeds. They have a limited life, even in correct storage. I want to see these things smiling out at me from your soil soon. So I was trying to do sort of like a public outreach. And then the other thing I've been doing is I have a very abundant, very large rhubarb patch that is not due to my gardening skill. It is just an innately great gardening patch of fabulous rhubarb. So I've been holding back on harvesting and bringing absolute pounds of it to the local food bank so that the excess in my garden is going to help people in need. Money's getting a little tight for people. It's getting to be maybe a bit more of a struggle in different categories. So I'm trying to help share things on, and I want to encourage other people to think about outreaching in their communities in ways they might be able to share their gardening excess. And the other project I kind of did was, before I even did my garden, we have a 43-member garden plot, community garden in my area, and 7 of the gardeners were more elderly and more disabled than most, but they still wanted to be in their gardening. So I got their gardens kind of plant ready so that they could have possibly like 1 more year of gardening when it would have been a struggle to set up. So that was weeks of effort to get them to stay in gardening when it was a bit of a struggle. So.
Oh, excellent. I love, man, I love that. I love what you're doing there with that rhubarb and all of that, man. I'm thinking now too, is what I should do. I think there's a good spot in the back alleyway now that we can think maybe just a little bit more permanently with certain stuff because of my new neighbor, new owner. He owns the place now. I think maybe what we should do is probably get some rhubarb started back there and get that stuff going. That would be a great idea. It's one of my favorite things that reminds me of my grandma. When I used to live up in Alaska, she grew all sorts of just this amazing rhubarb up in Alaska, and would make some of the most amazing like rhubarb cobblers with different things, and you know, strawberry rhubarb cobbler, of course, is probably a big favorite. But she would do different rhubarb combinations of different stuff, and it was always so amazing. And but yeah, so I gotta see about maybe getting some of that started in our garden space.
Well, I also gifted out around my little village that I live in, and one of the younger than me ladies loves it so much that I have to make sure I rinse it because she chews it raw just as it is. Wow.
Yeah. I heard that isn't it not supposed to? Isn't it like rhubarb one of those things where, I don't know, is it something you eat raw?
She does.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's something I definitely, because I don't grow it and I haven't really. It's probably one of those plants I'm not as familiar with, so I definitely have to look that up a little bit more. I see Grow Junior Grows at Alaska. It says Alaska, yeah.
I'm not that far north, but I am, north of many of the people, attending on the show.
I went to high school for a couple of years up there in Soldotna, Alaska. So I lived in Kasilof, actually. We used to ride up to Soldotna. And so I went to one of the brand new high schools, at least back then in the early 90s when they built it. It was brand new. It was the first year we opened this high school up there. It's called Skyview High School up in Soldotna, Alaska. And so I spent a couple of years up there. I know what life is like up there. I've heard it's a little bit different today, though.
Yeah.
As far as weather.
I just want to kind of back up what I just said here, because it sounded a little bit like I was blowing my own horn about community programs. But what I'm trying to do is, I'm so glad that the community that is building up to support and help each other within this channel. But additionally, part of the reason that I talk about the community things that I do is to inspire other people. In my opinion, opportunities to be more generous with your gardening materials, your gardening knowledge. Maybe in this particular strength, I'm still young enough that I have a certain amount of strength that is kind of waxing on some of the gardeners that have put 20, 30 years in. And if I can help them so that they can be supported through one more gardening season and feel good about it, that's another role that I can play so that they're, more happy gardeners, and basically in my backyard, you might say. And so I guess what I'm trying to do is to get other people to not necessarily copy what I do, but to kind of go, I wonder if an opportunity is going to come across for me in this week where I could kind of take the gardening knowledge, experience, materials that I've got and help somebody else out, because I think we're going to be going through some kind of toughening times in the near future, and not to be too negative on it, but the support that other people will have could be the thing to lift them up emotionally, practically. And we all need food, and all of us in this audience have some expertise that can help somebody else.
That's right. That's right. And again, too, as I always mention too here on the show, right? That's what we're here for. That's kind of the idea of the show, is to be a community space where we can all gather and do all that sort of stuff. But again, you emphasize a really great point that we try to also make sure that folks understand as well too, that we're building great community here on social media or on YouTube and all these different spaces, but really great, good gardening community really is right at home, out of our backyards. And the seeds that we save that we can share with others, and the spaces, and showing people how we do things, or helping them learn and really help facilitate their garden experience as well, right?
I had someone who was saying, gee, I got an extra gardening space, but money's a little tight. And I say, I got excess seeds. Can I come over tonight? You know? And it can be as simple as that. And they kind of held back. And I say, see all these seeds? Limited life, even in proper storage, they need to be in the ground. Get seed greedy. I am offering you my excess. This is needing to be planted. You are helping yourself, but you are helping me by having this get in good use so they don't stale out as seeds. I'm storing them the best I can, but eventually they have to have a life. That's
right. That's right. Diva in the Dirt, Maureen, wasn't that awesome? Her coming on and today too. Everybody else, awesome, great conversations we've had today. She asks, where in Canada are you? As we learned, she's all the way on the other side, though, in Vancouver, where the side of Canada I'm familiar with.
Correct. Yes. So she's just north of you, whereas I'm in southwestern Ontario. So I'm pretty much in the middle of Canada, and Canada kind of slides down. We sneak our way into the States a little bit by kind of sliding down by the Great Lakes. And I'm down in that section where the Great Lakes kind of comes down. So I'm actually kind of surrounded by the Great Lakes. And I'm pretty much in the middle, and I'm very near what they call Lake Huron. So I'm quite affected in terms of my weather and my gardening by Lake Huron, which is why I keep putting in my thing in the lee of Lake Huron, because it kind of explains a little bit about the effects for me in terms of gardening and weather. So that's where I am. And I've pretty much lived in this region my whole life. I've lived in different communities. I've also traveled some parts of the world, but I'm pretty settled here. Like Tony in the UK, he's quite, tied to Wales, and I'm tied to my region.
Yeah, we kind of are, if we've really, settled in somewhere. Like for me, I actually, again, was talking with my daughter not too long ago about, how great it is that she found herself kind of settling here in Southern Oregon with me, because I moved here away from I came to a place I didn't necessarily know folks or anything. I just had I lived here for a short period of time when I was younger. And so I came back. But I've been here now 13, 14 years, and this is just home now. And I don't think I really want to be anywhere else than Southern Oregon when it comes down to it. And I was talking with my daughter. I think that was so great that she kind of followed along with me too, to come settle here too. So it worked out perfect for me when it came down to it. So I think I'm fine where I'm at. And it makes sense, when you think about it, how people kind of get to where they are. And again, too, we always got to make these adjustments too. We really get to, if we're going to talk about it in the sense of gardening, right? That, for you, you've got these, this whole ecosystem and things that are happening with the weather and the lakes and all that sort of stuff. So you've developed a gardening, habits that are affected by those sort of conditions. And so now that's how you garden, right?
Yes.
So for me, I got that same sort of situation here. So I think that's one of the things that helps us settle somewhere, right? Is that, oh man, I've got this down. My garden's growing really well. Now I don't want to have to move somewhere else and have to relearn a whole new ecosystem.
Well, I was in a situation where I was rental place to rental place. So all of the work establishing gardens, and then for one reason or another, having to move on. So to me, this is sort of my permanent retirement community. I'm in a situation, very much like Bohemian Herbology in terms of being in a tiny home community. And I'm trying to do different things to build community and sort people here so that we're a friendlier, more supportive community here. And I'm doing that through gardening and through other things. And I've come up with a few different things that I do that makes it so that I'm a bit of a character in the community, as you can imagine, a little bit like Dave, Bowtie Dave, and that I do things that are a little edgy for some people's comfort, but all in good fun. I'm mostly trying to do things that are positive, friendly, or practical stuff to make things fun for people. And in terms of gardening, just to throw out a few other possibilities, just to get people thinking about how they might want to be contributing in their own village, town, community and stuff. I do things like each summer I adopt about 10, 12 families or households, I guess you might say. And I do what I call Curb Mart, where I take my garden cart full of my excess produce and I go to those places and let them pick out whatever they want. So that's my garden excess. It goes to them. And my garden excess gets really excessive, like beyond canning, freezing, etc. when I have one particular crop that's crazy amounts, like 2 bushels of tomatoes or something. What I'll often do is take my trike and garden cart and I ride throughout my community of about 1,000 people. And I say, Tomato Fairy, how are you fixed for tomatoes? And this year I may actually dress as a tomato fairy. Pay attention to that, Dave. So and I bring, like, I save bread bags and things like that. So people have little containers. And at first they're a little bit like, are you really sure? And I gesture back to, like, you know, I don't know, 100 tomatoes and going, are you kidding me? Yes, take 2, 3 tomatoes. And I deliberately plant extremely intensely and vertically in a small space so that I can be generous to the food bank, to the households I adopt, so that I can be the tomato fairy or the lettuce fairy or whatever. Just for random frivolity of, isn't this silly? But very practical. Here's food for your supper tonight. And I don't worry about whether it's people in need or not for that. I'm just trying to show an attitude of generosity. And to me, gardening is a vehicle to so many things, but it is a practical way to be very generous with your knowledge, your skills, and your actual produce. And so I'm not saying people necessarily need to do the same things. I'm saying, hey, I'm sure that there's things that will come across your path where you go, that funny Jay, she got me thinking about opportunities of what I can do to becoming part of growing community through gardening, which is one of our themes, in my local community. Is this one of the opportunities? Is it reasonable that I could do something now? And I'm hoping some of you will come back with tales of things that you've done.
That's right. Yes, we want to hear all about it. That's for sure. Right on, right on. Again, too, Jay, here we are, another amazing community show. Practically finished in the books. We were emailing last night, and again, you know, it's each time I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, we hope everything goes all right. And lo and behold, this community is just amazing, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm quite a chatter. I will have mercy upon you all. We are running quite a bit later than usual. The one thing I do want to remind some of you who've chosen to be on the show is that we have a little bit of an after party chat for you. So using that same link, you can come on back in. We'll chat for a little while longer, and then I need to also get on and get
we got things to do, but it's always fun to have a little after show, little chat party when the show's over and all of that too. We had a really fun time last time as well. So I look forward to that here in just a few minutes. And again, like you said, use that link that we've given you. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it up. Or actually, you know what? Maybe I don't have it linked right now. I can't do that right now, actually. But anyways, for all the guests who've been on here, you do have the link. If you do have the link, use that link. Come in after the credits are all over, the show's finished up. Come into the studio as soon as it's done, and everything's done there. I'll bring you all back in, and we'll have a fun little chat with each other too as well. So that'll be fun. And Jay, again, like I said, this is so fun. This is what a great way to also finish up the show. Get a chance to hang out with you a little bit here and catch up with what's going on. And I see a lot of folks as well too. Let me do one more thanking of Diva in the Garden too, because Diva's actually, I believe, streaming this through her channel as well. So we're seeing several of like her guests and folks from her channel as well too. So I want to thank Diva for doing that. I want to say to those folks as well, come on over for the weekends and come hang out with Jay and I here on the Let's Get Growing show, as we got great guests each and every weekend here, and fun conversations. And again, we're all about community around here, building gardening community, whether it's you the viewer, if you're viewing, like like our guest just a little bit ago, and you want to just come on and chat and all that sort of stuff, or if you got small channels and you want to get a chance to promote and talk about and tell your garden story and all that sort of stuff, these community shows are so much fun, so great. And what we'll do is we'll keep working to make sure we find spots to do this more throughout the gardening season. We'll give you guys some good heads up and get the word out about them, and then hopefully we'll get to have some more fun chats. We're gonna have to, I don't know, again too, if this gets popular enough though too, we're gonna have to start figuring something else out when it comes down to it. I was kind of explaining that a little bit at the beginning of the show. I think there's a point where we might have to be like, okay, we have to pre-do some stuff or something, but we're not quite there yet. We're having so much fun as it is. We'll keep doing it as it is until we have to get there. But yeah, man, thanks everybody for being here with us and joining with us here too. We have so much fun with these fun conversations that you all bring to our show.
Excess guests, excess produce. What a terrible problem to have. Oh no, we'll have to come up with solutions.
Oh my, what do we do? What do we do? Excellent, Jay. Always great to catch up with you. And thank you for everything that you do here on our show and for the gardening community as a whole. You do such a wonderful job with taking care of all that sort of stuff. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again at the end of our next community show. And I think she's frozen. I think she's frozen on us too.
Yes, I'm going to have to come back. Yeah.
Perfect smile though. Perfect smile. Thanks, Jay. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
You betcha. We'll see you. All right, everybody. There we go again. We're running a little late today, but another great show here for all of you. And thank you all so much for being here and contributing and everything to our show. As I mentioned, we got a great show for you all tomorrow on our Sunday edition. We got a great conversation about horticultural therapy with the professor from Tennessee University talking all about this growing profession. We got Alicia DeVore from Create My Garden joining in on that conversation as she's working to become a horticultural therapist. So really going to be really great conversation. You'll want to come and check that out. But before you leave today, definitely make sure that you're clicking that like button, hitting that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to be notified of all of our upcoming videos and live streams, and share with all of your garden friends out there. And like I said and mentioned earlier, and have kind of mentioned throughout the show today, let's share and get the word out there to all these small garden channels out there. If you've got smaller channels in your comment sections or other ones that let's get the word out to these folks and let them know about the Let's Get Growing show here and these community shows that we do. We'll work on a good way we can get good shout outs to everybody so they know, and we can get them here on the show to be able to talk about what they've got growing on and what they're contributing to the gardening community. Also, be sure, like I said, you join with us here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. British Standard Time, and except for what is going to be this next Saturday. And I'm going to play this one more time. It's only a few seconds. I know we're running a little late, but I just got to see it. All right, everybody, look who we're here with. I got my granddaughter, Layla. Hi, Layla, say hi. Yeah. So guess what? Next Saturday on our show day is Layla's very first birthday. Yes, it's her first birthday. So we're not going to have a show. So we're going to take the day off and I'm going to go hang out with my granddaughter for her first birthday. But all of you can still join in on the show and join in on the chat, as we'll keep the chat open as always. And hopefully we'll see all of you guys on next Sunday's show. What? That and I think one of the reasons why I did actually, wanted to play that again too is you notice that very ending there. She found the Monstera right there at the moment we were standing right here, and she got a good hold of one of those leaves right there. But yeah, again too. So again, no show next Saturday though. We will keep the chat open for everybody, and then again, we will be back for our next Sunday edition of the show next week, and we will have a great conversation with my good friends from Kangstar and where are they at? There we are. Here we are. My good friends, Kangstar from the Kangstar channel and Christopher Bransdahl from Christopher Bransdahl, growing out of Norway, the mountains of Norway. These are my good friends. These are my original live stream buddies. These guys helped me get into the whole live streaming thing and talking and interviewing guests and all that sort of stuff. So it's always great to catch up with them every couple months and see how things are growing along in the garden with them. So we'll catch up with them next Sunday as well too. So thank you all so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing all of you on our very next show. Check out the also links down in the description as well too. But yeah, it's been such a fun day. I always love hanging out with you guys. I just can't get enough of it, but we do got to go. I'll see you all tomorrow on the Sunday edition. See you then.